the college football elite. And the established power, Florida State, with its high-flying offense, still the championship standard by which others are measured under the watchful eye of a football legend. Here we go. Tailgaters out early today in preparation for the 57th Gator Bowl. Virginia Tech, known for its fan following. In fact, it helped get the Hokies into Jacksonville. And, of course, nearby Tallahassee means Seminole fans are here in force as well. Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville filled with maroon shirts today as NBC Sports presents the 2002 Toyota Gator Bowl, matching the Hokies of Virginia Tech and the Seminoles of Florida State. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year to you. Welcome to Alltel Stadium. Tom Hammond and Pat Hayden ready to bring you the 2002 Toyota Gator Bowl. And much of the last few days here in Jacksonville, Pat, has been spent as a tribute to Bobby Bowden.
As it should be. You know, it's amazing. This marks the completion of his 47th year of coaching, his 26th at Florida State, and what a run it has been, particularly that stretch from 1987 to 2000. And that stretch, his teams did some remarkable things. 14 straight top 5 finishes, 10 win seasons. They won 2 national championships. Actually, the last 8 years, they played in 5 national championships. Although this year's 7-4 record has been somewhat of a disappointment, largely because of inexperience and youth. And it's really one of the reasons they're led by their quarterback, freshman quarterback, Chris Ricks. Now, he got off to a relatively slow start, but came on to be the ACC Rookie of the Year, set an ACC freshman record with 3,100 yards. You know, Bobby Bowden said to us yesterday that he's the best athlete he's ever had at quarterback.
That is high praise, considering some of the great quarterbacks that Bobby Bowden has coached. But Chris Ricks will face a defense today that'll be one of the best he's seen all season. In fact, Virginia Tech's defense led the nation in shutouts. They pitched 4 shutouts during the regular season, and they ranked 2nd in scoring defense behind only Miami. In rush defense and in total defense, they are one of the most active defenses that you'll see in college football, and it's all part of a Beamer ball named after Frank Beamer, the way the Hokies go about their business.
You know, it is absolutely staggering what Frank Beamer's teams have done, particularly on special teams. They're great defensive teams, but special teams, look what's happened since 1987 when he arrived. 90 blocked kicks, 26 touchdowns by those special teams. They've blocked 7 kicks this year, 2 against #1 ranked Miami. The other interesting thing, I think every position on their defense, every single position from the nose guard to the free safety, has scored at least 1 touchdown over the last 8 years. Staggering.
And the Hokies have a young quarterback, just like the Seminoles. Grant Knoll will direct the Virginia Tech attack today. It's the defense of Virginia Tech, the offense of Florida State. It's the Big East against the ACC. We're back for the Gator Bowl kickoff in just a moment. Gator Bowl just moments ago when Virginia Tech took the field. They were led onto the field by linebacker Brian Welch carrying the American flag, a young man whose life was directly affected by terrorism. His father, Army Chief Warrant Officer Kenneth Welch, was killed by a terrorist bomb in Beirut, Lebanon 17 years ago. And in the wake of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the Hokies began this tradition as Welch carries the American flag onto the field and presents it to Wes Worsham, who was wounded in the Korean conflict and spent 23 months in a North Korean prisoner of war camp and is one of the Virginia Tech boosters for whom the school's playing surface is named in Blacksburg, Virginia. A nice tradition begun by Virginia Tech in the wake of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. It is a beautiful day in Jacksonville. Bright sunshine, 46 degrees, low humidity. And as we said, a sellout crowd, over 70,000 at Alltel Stadium with various shades of maroon. The colors of Florida State and Virginia Tech very similar. And there is the scene presented in bright sunshine today. Virginia Tech won the toss, and they have deferred to the second half. And so they will kick off to open the game. And for the Hokies, John Mullerup will kick off. As you see PK Sam, who is deep for the Seminoles, along with Javon Walker. excuse me, along with Grafonso Thorpe. Deep men for the Seminoles. Florida State 7-4 in their 20th straight bowl game. Virginia Tech 8-3 in their 9th straight bowl game. They won the Gator Bowl over Clemson a year ago. And the Toyota Gator Bowl is underway. It's taken by Sam. Sam dancing to the sideline and wrestled down at about the 22-yard line. A 16-yard return to open the game. So the Seminoles begin with Chris Ricks at quarterback. And here is their starting lineup with Williams, Brown, Mirambo, Holland, and Willis up front. Willis starting for Todd Williams, who sometimes starts at that tackle spot. Ricks has Maddox and Mater with Bell, Walker, and Donaldson, the tight end. Florida State with 14 seniors, basically a young team, and now we see that Mater will not start. It's William McCray that lines up at fullback on this opening series behind Chris Ricks, the redshirt freshman. Play action fake, and Ricks whips it downfield, lays it up, and it's incomplete, intended for a Truce Bell.
You're going to see a lot of that today. Florida State will throw at least 10 deep balls.
And the Virginia Tech defense, one of the best in college football. Colas, Beasley, Pugh, all Big East up front, along with Adibi. The linebackers and secondary for the Hokies, Daniels, All-American, and the leading tackler with Whitaker, Austin Pyle, and McAdam in the secondary. 2nd and 10 for the Seminoles.
All 11 guys close to the line of scrimmage, and these corners are going to have a big job today.
Ricks from the shotgun, sacked all the way back to the 11-yard line. So there is that Hokie defense. Mike Daniels getting a piece of the action along with Nathaniel Adibi from his defensive end spot. 2nd sack of the season for Adibi, a loss of 10.
You know, that 31st sack of the year. A little stunned. The outside linebacker, the whip linebacker, 31, Daniels comes inside. Adibi goes outside. But they'll blitz a lot, as we just said, putting lots of pressure on those corners. And if the corners can hold up, they're going to sack Florida State's quarterback a number of times today.
3rd down and 19. From the I formation, Ricks under center. Play action fake. Under pressure, he goes deep downfield. Intended for Gardner and incomplete.
2nd deep ball of the day.
And Ricks knocked down as he let it go. Larry Austin defending for the Hokies. And there is that Virginia Tech defense on the first series of the game.
Yeah, you know, this is one of those deep balls. Bobby Bowden was talking to us about this yesterday. Do not overthrow the deep balls. If anything, underthrow it. Give your receiver a chance to come back to interference or make a catch.
Chance Waltney will punt for Virginia Tech. Taken at about the 40-yard line. And great field position for Virginia Tech as they have their first possession of the game.
Defense did a great job. Special teams, as expected, gave good field position.
38-yard punt, 14-yard return by Andre Davis. As you see, Davis, Owens, Damasi, Grove, and Winsick up front for Virginia Tech.
Good offensive line.
No, the young quarterback, he is a junior who is coming to his own this season, has had some good games and some poor games. The outing against Miami was a poor one with 4 interceptions and a lost fumble. He's looking for some early success here to erase memories of that narrow loss to the Hurricanes. Play action fake, and Noel rolls. Sets his feet and delivers complete. Inside the 30-yard line to Solkowski, the tight end. Only his 5th reception of the season, but it goes for 18 yards.
And Tom, I absolutely love the call. And you know why? Just like you were mentioning, this is the guy, Grant Noel, who could not wait for this game to start. There's the tight end, little rollout, and then he just kind of settles down. You're going to watch him here. But after those 5 turnovers, he was so anxious to get this thing started, and the first thing they do is give him a chance to throw the ball to the tight end, his big target, an easy throw.
Spot the ball at the Florida State 29-yard line. 2nd play from scrimmage for Virginia Tech. Their defense gave them good field position. They're trying to take advantage. And the delayed handoff is to Jones. And Jones, Kevin Jones, the sensational freshman running back, finally tracked down by Abdul Howard after a gain of 12.
What Michael did?
Wow. Where's the same number? Emmanuel Womble, Dockett, and Jackson. Dockett, Steve Spurrier's favorite player up front. Augustin gets the start. Kendall Pope warmed up. He's been bothered by bone spurs, unable to go. That's a big loss for the Seminoles. Hudson, Boulware, Tatum, Brown, Hope, and Howard. First down, Virginia Tech. The ball at the 17. And a give again to Jones, who picks his way down to the 14-yard line. Just a couple of yards. Chris Hope with the tackle, the senior free safety of the Seminoles.
Kevin Jones stays healthy. You see that almost 1,000 yards right here. He only started 3 football games. The last 3 of the year. He get 155 against Temple, then against University of Virginia, 181, and then against Miami. Their last game, 160 yards against the #1 team in the nation.
Most highly acclaimed player ever to come to Virginia Tech. Many rated him the top high school player in the country last year. He blocks this time, and not very well, as Grant Knoll is sacked by the Seminole defense.
I think it was Augustin, the guy who came in and replaced Pope.
Alan Augustin, the sophomore linebacker from Miami, a walk-on who's now on scholarship, gets to him for a loss of 9.
You know, I think Grant Knoll is not going to take a lot of chances today, Tom. We talked about what happened against Miami. He's in here in scoring territory, doesn't want to force anything right now in their opening drive. This is an amazing thing to me. Only 15 sacks this season for the Seminoles. The last 10 years, they've averaged 44 a year.
Now 3rd and 16 for the Hokies. And it's a draw play to Jones. And he won't get too much. He'll be stopped at about the 18-yard line, a 5-yard gain.
Kevin Jones, to me, Tom, is a little bit like a run-on sentence. I mean, this is a guy that can, you know, it looks like he's going to get stopped, and he kind of makes a guy miss, and then he runs through another tackle, and then he outruns somebody else.
So Carter Worley is on to attempt the field goal. As you see, 11 of 21 this season, and 1 block, 39 his longest. This will be a 36-yarder. It's on its way, and it is good. So Worley connects, and Frank Beamer and the Hokies break on top. Their defense gave them great field position. They get a field goal out of it. To Toyota Gator Bowl is brought to you by Toyota. Get the feeling. And by Edge Clean Shaving Gel. It helps lift dirt and oil every time you shave. We're back at the Toyota Gator Bowl, where Virginia Tech leads Florida State 3-0. And John Mullerup tees it up, ready to kick off again after that 6-play scoring drive that resulted in a 36-yard field goal, and set up by wonderful defensive work by the Hokies. Thorpe and Sam, the deep men for the Seminoles. And this one will reach the end zone, where Thorpe will take a knee. So with the touchback, Florida State begins from its own 20-yard line. A scrum breaking out there at midfield. And we talked about incentive with both these coaches. And Frank Beamer of Virginia Tech saying there was a lot of incentive for them because they are trying to beat that man, Bobby Bowden. And Beamer said Florida State, no question, is one of the greatest programs in college football, and beating them would be another step for the Hokies in their rise to reach that level. And of course, Bobby Bowden, it goes without saying. And he said there was a lot of incentive for his team because it was a young team. They played for the national championship, as you mentioned, Pat, so many times.
5 out of the last 8 years.
5 out of 8, and you think it would be a bit of a letdown, but not so with a young team. Hand off to Jones. Greg Jones, sophomore running back of the Seminoles, stopped by Jake Housewright after a gain of 4.
You know, and Greg Jones has had a real good second half of the season for the Seminoles. Picked up almost 500 yards the last 6 games. Really didn't start the season as their go-to guy as a tailback, but a real kind of a power guy. He's 243 pounds. The run just kind of starts when he gets hit.
Averaged over 5 yards a carry, the Seminoles' leading rusher on the season. Hicks, of course, set a freshman record passing for 2,700 yards. And he completes that one in the flat. And it'll go for a Seminole first down to Gardner, run out of bounds by Willie Pyle, gain of 11.
Gardner's on the outside here, but watch the block here. The other wide receiver, I think, that was Bell, who kind of really forced the play and allowed him to jump outside, pick up the first down. So it was a good throw, but then a good block by the wide receiver.
Those 11 touchdowns by Gardner, tops on the team, as you see. Leading receiver in terms of receptions was Javon Walker. First down for the Seminoles. Ricks with a handoff. Jones bounced off the first tackler, got about 3 yards, again tackled by Housewright. Log on to NBCSports.com for in-depth coverage of all the bowl games, plus test your knowledge of the history of college football's postseason by taking our bowl match game quiz, all at NBCSports.com. Seminoles go with 2 tight ends on this second down and 6. They trail Virginia Tech 3-0, first quarter of the Toyota Gator Bowl.
11 guys near the line of scrimmage.
They hand it off to Jones. Greg Jones stopped in his tracks. No gain on the play. And once again, Jake Housewright in the middle of that defense.
Yeah, that's
senior linebacker.
Right, the 3rd tackle by Jake on this series. Number 41 right there. You know, his father was a nose tackle for the Hokies in the 70s. Splits the position with Brian Welch, who you talked about a little bit earlier, Tom. Had a very good season. All these defenders have. But when the linebackers are making all those tackles, you know, Pugh and Beasley inside. Right. These 2 guys are doing a pretty good job. Here's a 3rd and 6. Blitz shown by the Hokie defense. They back out of it, however. And Ricks with protection. It's incomplete. The pass intended for Gardner, who was defended by Austin. And the Seminoles once again will have to punt. Again, this Virginia Tech defense really mixes it up. Look at the leaping ability of David Pugh. I mean, that's a tackle who goes 275. Very athletic guy, and you're going to have to get the ball off quickly. You know, this is the punter's nightmare playing against Virginia Tech.
Blocked so many, yeah. Waltney sends it downfield. Davis can't quite get to it, and that'll be a halo violation on Florida State. Their first of 2002. Hetzel was too close to Davis. You have to allow 2 yards. That's halo infraction, and that'll be the first penalty of the game. I'm willing to bet most punters have a poor average against Virginia Tech than they do against any other team, just because you're afraid of having a punt blocked. Littlevet, the referee.
Violation of a 2-yard belt on the kicking team. 5 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
This is a Big Ten crew that spotted that infraction. Big Ten crew in today's Toyota Gator Bowl. So Virginia Tech will have the ball when we return to Jacksonville. Beamer and the Hokies leading the Seminoles 3-0. Virginia Tech leading FSU 3-0. Frank Beamer looking for his first win against the Seminoles. He's 0-5. One loss when he was the coach at Murray State in Kentucky, and the rest here at Virginia Tech, where he's in his 15th season at his alma mater. And he's really turned that program around. First down for the Hokies, starting from their own 26-yard line. And it's Jones again that gets the call and gets 4 or 5 tough yards. Give him 5. And talking about Beamer, he's not just an administrator as a head coach. He takes an active hand, especially in that Beamer ball special team unit. Well, you know, he coaches the punt block and then the punt return teams just himself. And he said to us yesterday that, you know, every Sunday, day after a game, I spend the first 4 hours of my day are just looking at tapes of my opposing team and see how they protect the punter and see if we're going to go try to block a punt or if we're going to return one. And, you know, I think it's the focus of the head coach that's made them so good. Special teams certainly not an afterthought, as they sometimes are. Jones trapped for a loss that time. Kevin Jones hit by Chris Hope, the excellent senior free safety of the Seminoles. Yeah, he's excellent in a couple different ways. All ACC is a free safety, is an academic All-American. You know, one of those guys, if your free safety isn't a good tackler, which Chris Hope is, you know, you're going to have a lot of long runs. And actually a lot of long passes down the middle against Chris Hope either. I mean, they've given up some plays down the sidelines, but not down the middle of the defense. Academic All-American, communications major, and recipient of a Hall of Fame postgraduate scholarship. From the shotgun on third down, Knoll in the pocket. Crossing pattern complete to Davis. Andre Davis with a cutback. He's to the 30-yard line. Shakes one tackler, makes another move. Finally inside the 20 and ridden out of bounds at about the 17 by Abdul Howard, who finally chased down Andre Davis. Andre Davis has done this his entire career at Virginia Tech.
You know, over 100 receptions. This is 104th. Averaged over 16 yards a catch. Because he's got phenomenal speed. Really started as a track guy. And that's a great strategy. Get the guy on the move. Get the ball in front of him so you don't have to slow down, and then let him run away from defenders and use that speed, and indeed he has it.
Three-time Atlantic 10 100-meter champion, as a matter of fact. And climbing up the career leader charts in both receptions and punt returns. And he's put them in great position again. Here's the handoff to Jones. Delayed handoff. Hit in the backfield and thrown again for a loss.
We talked about how many different things you were just talking about, Tom. Andre Davis can do. And what a career he has had. Punt returns first. Nearly 1,000 yards on those. He ranks for TD receptions second. Receptions third. Almost 2,000 yards in receptions as well. Just an amazing career. Scored 4 touchdowns as a runner.
Second down and 14 after that loss of 4. Davis had a 50-yard pass completion, and then they lose 4 on the ground. No, short drop. Looks. Tries to roll. Is still holding it. Now rolling to his right and will duck out of bounds. Chased by Tony Benford.
Well, scrambling around is not Grant's favorite thing to do. His long run of the year is 12. But, you know, we were talking to Frank Beamer yesterday about him. He said what he really liked about him, he said he's a very smart guy, and he's tough. Physically tough guy. And, you know, he's going to bounce back from the rough game against Miami to have a very nice start in this ball game.
One time had a string of 108 straight passes without an interception, 3 shy of the Virginia Tech record.
Yeah, threw 4 TDs against Rutgers.
And 16 passes on the season, the most ever by a Virginia Tech first-year starter. And the Seminoles have to spend a timeout. Bowden's team, they only had 10 men on the field. They trail by 3. Tom Hammond and Pat Hayden back in Jacksonville, where we're joined on the sideline today by Chris Raggi. Let's check in with Chris now.
Tom, thank you very much. Tech playing for a number of reasons today, but none bigger than freshman linebacker number 33, Chad Cooper. All the helmets have a 33 on the back above their jersey number. Chad is home in Virginia right now. For the last 2 weeks, he's been hospitalized with a rare condition called Guillain-Barré. It affects the nervous system, causing paralysis. 2 weeks ago, he was in critical condition. I am happy to report his condition is rapidly improving. He's home today watching the game. I've talked with a number of the players. Chad, they wanted me to personally tell you, number 33, this one's for you. Tom?
All right, Chris, thank you. We send our best wishes to Chad as well. Meanwhile, the Hokies facing a 3rd and 14 from the 22 of the Seminoles. 6th play of the drive. Knoll in the shotgun. Drills, there's a flag down. The touchdown, if it stands. The catch by Ernest Wilford. 22 yards, but a flag came down early.
And Darnell Dockett, the disruptor on their defense, I think may have been held. Darnell Dockett, number 45 for Florida State, has been a guy, been in the defensive backfield of opponents or offensive backfield opponents all year long. 22 tackle for losses for Darnell.
During the play, holding, offense, 10 yards from the previous spot, repeat 3rd down.
I think they may have gotten the left tackle right in here, and Dockett's going to come inside. Here he is. And there's the tackle right there. It wasn't actually Dockett, it was defensive end, O.J. Jackson. That was a pretty doggone good throw by Grant Knoll.
And it wiped out that touchdown catch by Ernest Wilford and sets up a 3rd and 24 now from the 32-yard line. Total yards in favor of Virginia Tech. They lead and face a 3rd and 24. And now with the play clock ticking down, Knoll raises up and calls the first Virginia Tech timeout. So Virginia Tech got the 50-yard completion to Davis, but then have sputtered a bit. And, of course, these two teams know each other a bit. 2 years ago, the national championship, Florida State and Virginia Tech. Peter Warwick led a sizzling Seminole offense, started the scoring with that 64-yard TD pass from Chris Winkie, followed with a 59-yard punt return for a touchdown and then ended the Seminole day with a 43-yard circus catch for another touchdown. Florida State wins the national championship 46-29.
You know, Tom, the interesting thing, we talked so much about Beamer ball, but Bobby Bowden's team won that game really on special teams. They blocked a punt of Virginia Tech for a touchdown, and then you saw Warwick's punt return for a touchdown.
What about the various headwear now? There's a Hokie hat. We can get you one of those. And Bobby Bowden has the new lid, too, this season.
Well, his dermatologist suggested he wear the wide-brimmed hat. Nice change. We talked about it yesterday.
Saw that Hokie hat. I can remember when Virginia Tech was VPI and the Gobblers.
Don't admit to that.
And those are turkeys, too, not fast eaters. I just wanted to point that out to you. 3rd and 24 for them. Noel in trouble. Scrambles free, lost the football, still loose. And Florida State has it.
Well, you know, Grant Noel gets off to a good solid start, throws a touchdown, although they called back. And then he just kind of waited a little too long. You saw Coach Beamer say, get rid of that ball. Get rid of it. This defense is just too good to hang on to it that long.
Well, they got rid of it, but not the way Coach Beamer wanted. Alonzo Jackson is the man that comes up with it.
I tell you, Luke Owens, the left guard, did a heck of a job blocking Darnell Dockett that time all by himself.
You know, his own man, Kevin Jones, may have knocked the ball out of his hand. Look at there, hit his helmet. So on the turnover, Florida State takes over at their own 45-yard line, trailing 3-0 with just under 6 minutes left, first quarter. Chris Ricks looking for some daylight and will be sacked again. Mike Daniels, the redshirt freshman linebacker from Fairfax, Virginia, finally tracked him down for the sack.
And Tom, the right defensive end, Coles Colas, did an unbelievable. Watch him up here. Watch him read the screen. He gets the cut, but he gets up and then he reads the screen. Chad Beasley's changed it around. Looks like he's dancing. But it was Coles Colas who really disrupted that one. Read the screen absolutely perfectly. As soon as you feel yourself getting cut, you know something funny's going on. Smart play.
And a loss of 4, 2nd down 14. This time Ricks in the shotgun. Flanked by Maddox and McCray. Ricks has a man, and it's intercepted. Stepping right in front as the ball floated was Green. Eric Green with the interception as Atrus Bell finally forced him out of bounds. So turnovers back-to-back, one each side as Eric Green stepped it perfectly.
Yeah, and, you know, when you try to throw the ball on time on an out pattern, you must throw the ball out toward the boundary. If you throw it inside, you're always going to give the defensive corner a chance to drive it when he has that drive on the ball, when he has that big a cushion. Kind of came out a little funny.
Yeah, it did. It looked funny all the way. And Happy New Year to Eric Green. The ball came right to him.
Yeah. Well, there's a guy, Eric Green, blocked a punt versus Miami. He actually blocked 2 punts on the year. One of those guys who loves the Beamer ball.
So Virginia Tech gets it right back on another turnover. This one by the Seminoles. Here's a reverse. Richard Johnson passing downfield. It's caught. That play looked ugly. No, now they say incomplete. Incomplete. Malcolm Tatum was the man that finally broke it up, I think. Richard Johnson with the pass. And Wilford on the receiving end could not hold on.
Well, Ernest Wilford probably is not going to want to hear this, but it looked like the 2-point play that he dropped against Miami.
Well, I don't know.
That one helmet. Yeah, Tatum's helmet.
Tatum put his helmet right on the ball to knock it loose. I give him credit for that.
Yeah, that was not a drop. Nice little play. You know, Ricky Bussell, who ordinarily the offensive coordinator, he's going to take the head coaching job at the University of Louisiana Lafayette. So the coach Brian Steinspring is calling the plays today. New offensive coordinator.
Here's the handoff. And Burnell, who spells Jones at tailback, wrestled down after a gain of only 1. Burnell, a junior from Chesapeake, Virginia, the second leading rusher for the Hokies this season, and started most of the time, as you mentioned earlier. Kevin Jones, the freshman, only started the last 3 games. Boulware and Brown, the stop.
Yeah, and remember, they were trying to replace Lee Suggs, who got hurt in the first game, his 1,200 yards and 27 touchdowns of a year ago, and they did a pretty good job, did Burnell and Jones.
3rd down and 8. Seminoles show blitz. Here they come.
Oh, great.
And incomplete. They forced him to throw high, intended for Burnell. Chris Hope was all over Grant Knoll. And the Hokies will have to punt for the first time.
A terrific read by Chris Hope to free safety. And there's Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, trying to set up the screen. And again, it was when they blitzed, Chris Hope had the corner, or the the offensive back man for man, read it the screen very quickly and just drilled it.
So Vinnie Burns in punt formation. Burns, the redshirt freshman from New Orleans. In fact, his dad Ronald is on the Sugar Bowl committee there. Dominic Robinson is deep for Florida State. Burns boots it high. And the Hokies are going to down it deep. There's Beamer ball.
Yeah. And it's a starter. Wasn't that Ben Taylor who made the stop there?
Ben Taylor. They put the best players on special teams, and it pays off. 37-yard punt backs the Seminoles deep. 3-0 Tech.
Has been so successful has been his ability to adjust during football games. Touchdown just a moment ago, but listen to Bobby how he adjusts to this touchdown.
Is he the kind of quarterback, if he stands back all day, he can rip you? I mean, he's that good? Are we better off really going after him?
Yeah, we're going for him, so.
Okay. And this is what happens. They change up the strategy, and they blitz. 2 linebackers come and cause the turnover. So Bobby Bowden talks to his defensive coordinator, Mickey Andrews. You know, these are the kind of in-game adjustments. You know, Tom, guys talk about halftime adjustments and such. But those in-game adjustments make a difference. And Bobby Bowden's been doing it for 47 years.
That Tech touchdown was wiped out by penalty. It's still 3-0. And Chris Ricks so far only 1 of 5, 11 yards. Now starting deep in his own territory. Florida State has only 6 total yards of offense here in the first quarter.
They need to hammer it a little bit in the run.
It is a running play to Jones. Greg Jones fights his way to the 10-yard line, and he's thrown back. Gain of 4. Mike Daniels leading the defensive charge and then having a little word or two for Jones. Got help from Willie Pyle.
And number 98, Darius Monroe. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6 at the 10.
Good offensive line surge. You know, Greg Jones, 243 pounds, and as Jeff Bowden, the offensive coordinator, was telling me later last week, he said, you know, run generally just starts when he gets that first hit, because he's very good after some contact.
Ricks, short drop. Throws complete to Thorpe. And Thorpe trying to back his way to the first down marker and is very close to it.
These corners for Virginia Tech have had a real good season. See him looking in at the quarterback. He sees it, and then he just drives. Just drives.
That's Eric Green wrestling. And then Taylor puts the coup de grace, gain of 7. And it is an FSU first down.
FSU's thrown 2 deep balls unsuccessfully. He's had 1 picked off on an out route, and then a good tackle there by Eric Green.
First down, Florida State from the 16. Virginia Tech leads 3-0. Fumble. Ricks picks it up and then is trapped and taken down back at the 9-yard line. Loss of 6 on the play. Boy, any hesitation, any miscue, and Tech is all over you. That time it was Jim Davis.
Jim Davis, Lamar Cobb, David Pugh, Chad Beasley. They bring in a lot of different guys. Just dropped it. Good snap. Jim Davis got all of them.
Davis has been banged up. He tore a right pectoral muscle against Miami, and here he is back in action and getting this sack of Chris Ricks.
You know, there's been an awful lot of 2nd and 3rd and longs for Florida State here in the first half. This is 2nd and 16.
Draw play. Jones cuts to the outside and made the corner, then taken down at about the 21-yard line. Eric Green and McAdam came over to get him, but not till he gained 11 yards on the draw.
Yeah, nice call by Jeff Bowden, the offensive coordinator. Watch how he just kind of settles in there, sees a little lane, then gets a block and bounces it out. Bell, Atrus Bell makes a nice block. But, you know, you didn't get it all back, but now you're in a manageable down and distance at 3rd and 3. Here's Jeff, the offensive coordinator.
Ricks in the shotgun.
The free safety's right here. That's the free safety. How close he is.
Here comes Tech on the blitz. Ricks chased from the pocket. Got away from 3 pursuers. Hit and dives forward for the first down. Nice effort by Ricks. He got a block from Greg Jones. Kevin McAdam hit him hard. Darius Monroe was there too, but he has the first down.
I tell you, when you're a quarterback and you look over Virginia Tech's defense, they're not terribly subtle. You know what's going to happen. Yeah, this is the free safety. All these guys here, and then these guys up here at the top, one-on-one. So you know you're going to have to get rid of that ball pretty quickly. Whereas Chris Ricks did here, make something happen with your feet as he's done all year long. I mean, he's had more rushing yards than any quarterback in FSU history, including Charlie Ward's Heisman Trophy year in 1993.
In fact, Bobby Bowden saying next season maybe they'll change their scheme a bit to take advantage of his running ability.
He's got some talent.
Had time to throw there. Long pass complete. Walker hauls it in. Big play for Florida State. He beat D'Angelo Hall, the freshman corner, 44 yards. Ricks to Walker.
You know, this Florida State team, Jeff Bowden, Bobby Bowden, the head coach, they don't get discouraged throwing some incompletions on deep balls. This is the third of the game. The first 2 fell incomplete. This time, that big 6'3" Javon Walker, and that one wasn't overthrown.
Right.
A little bit underthrown. Let the 6'3" basketball player now kind of out-rebound the little defensive back, D'Angelo Hall. And Chris Ricks should be delighted. So
that's what Bobby Bowden wanted, wasn't it? Perfect throw to the scheme. And a big play, the biggest of the game so far by the Seminoles. Jones, tailback in the eye, stopped for a loss of 1 by McAdam. Kevin McAdam from a safety spot in the closing seconds of the first quarter of a 3-0 game.
Kevin McAdam, number 5, one of 2 players from California for Virginia Tech. Boy, this guy has had a very good senior season. Junior college transfer, scored 2 touchdowns on defense, had 3 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. Big year for Kevin McAdam.
El Capitan High School, Lakeside, California. Then he went to Colorado State, transferred from there to junior college, Grassmont, and now has found a home in Blacksburg. 5 seconds in the quarter. Get the play off. And it's a pass. Ricks going to the end zone for Thorpe. Incomplete.
Oh, a good throw. Wow. Good throw. That's 4 deep balls in the first quarter. Completed 1, 2 incomplete, and 1 near completion.
And that toss for the end zone will bring the first quarter to a close. Eric Green defending on the throw for the end zone. Here it is again. Number 1 and number 1.
That is an absolutely perfect throw that probably should have been caught by Thorpe. He's had a good, very good, true freshman year, almost 1,000 yards in all-purpose yards. So Chris Ricks keeps throwing the ball deep. They will not be discouraged as the Hokies lead 3-0 at the end of the first quarter.
BC.
Sunny Jacksonville, Florida, the Toyota Gator Bowl. We start the second quarter with Virginia Tech leading Florida State 3-0. And the Seminoles facing a 3rd down and 12 from the Hokie 30-yard line. 9th play of the drive that began on the Seminole 6.
And Chris Ricks, this is one of those situations you have to know the situation of the game. Just anything but a sack to take you out of field goal range.
Ricks from the gun. Feels some pressure. Chased from the pocket and sacked.
You know, again, he's awfully good with his feet, and maybe he didn't have a chance to get rid of that one, but I just think knowing the situation of the game, now he gets sacked, now they're out of field goal range.
Nathaniel Adibi was all over Ricks. 3rd sack by the Hokies.
And Adibi's been in there twice. Now, Adibi was a tailback in high school. He's got speed. Coles Colas, the other defensive end, was the 100-meter high school champion in the state of Florida. So they've got some great speed at defensive end. That's when you just can't get sacked.
Well, this punt will go out of bounds at about the 11-yard line, where Virginia Tech will take over. 29-yard punt. Fear Factor returns to NBC this Monday, January 7th. It's all new Fear Factor, the series, Monday at 8, 7 Central. here on NBC.
I started my 2002 with a fear factor. I was in the shower this morning with a spider the size of a lobster. And I want to tell you, it took 3 or 4 coaxings of getting that spider out of my shower.
How do you coax a spider?
Well, I had a big old shoe in there after a while. This thing had to be the size of a 3-pound lobster. Fear factor of my own.
From the 11, Virginia Tech, a handoff. And the running game has been pretty anemic for the Hokies today. Jones stopped quickly by Alonzo Jackson for a loss of a yard. If you'll remember the stats, early Virginia Tech had a big edge.
Yeah, hey, look, -2. Look at the rushing yards here. -2 here for Virginia Tech, 8 yards. Look, I just covered it. Sorry about that for Florida State.
I thought that was a spider.
Good defensive ball game. And, Virginia Tech's played great defense all year. Florida State has had its moments defensively. They've had some real good play this year, particularly out of Darnell Dockett and their linebackers. Although they're missing Bradley Jennings, they're ordinarily their middle linebacker.
Second down long and open across the middle of tight end Slukowski. And Noel hits him for a first down to the 30-yard line. Gain of 20. Hope and Tatum hit the big tight end, 6'5", 255, the senior from Pittsburgh.
And Tom, that's the second completion to the fullback, to the tight end today. And Virginia Tech will run, see the fullback here? They'll run a lot of tight end fullback combination routes, a new series they put in before the season. And it's been very, very good to them. 41 receptions among the tight ends and fullbacks this year. And they add 2 more. Jared Ferguson, 25, their second leading receiver as a fullback. So that series, which you just saw, has been very successful for the Hokies this year.
Although Ferguson does not have a catch yet today, Slukowski, the tight end, has a couple. From the eye, here's the option, and it's blown up. Jones picks it up on the bounce, tries to reverse his field, makes a couple of decent cuts to get something back out of it, but the option play run for the first time by the Hokies did not look good. Loss of 4.
Yikes. I think it was Kevin Emanuel, number 90, who came along. Now, he's 6'4", but when he puts his arms out like he did there, he's like 6'11", and just kind of knocked that one away. And then here you have the athletic Kevin Jones, but some pretty good athletic defensive players at Florida State as well. But boy, great play by Kevin Emanuel. Good defensive ball game.
Second down, 14. Ball back at the 27-yard line to the Hokies. No, goes long, too long, way over the head of anybody.
Andre Davis,
yeah, even Andre Davis can be outthrown, as we see.
But didn't Andre Davis, we were talking to him yesterday, and said he really played high school soccer.
Right.
More than football.
Just came out to football to stay in shape for track, which was his main focus.
Well, what a career he's had for Frank Beamer. Great student as well. He's also an academic All-American.
And has one of those postgraduate scholarships.
I was talking to Ricky Bussell about him, about Andre Davis a week ago. He says all he can do is just run right by you, no matter how deep you are.
Virginia Tech has converted only 1 of 4 third downs. Flag down, and they'll be set back 5 yards on an illegal procedure. False start.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense. The down remains 3rd.
Virginia Tech has had their share of third and long as well. We talked about Florida State being a lot of long yardage situations.
Second penalty against Tech, minus 15.
And Tom, in years past, this is where Florida State would just kill you. Their corners would lock on, their defensive ends would sack you, but it's been a different Florida State defense this year.
They got their nickel defense. Shovel pass is complete. It's Ferguson, and Ferguson breaking tackles all the way to midfield with a flag coming in late.
And good call by Brian Steinspring, new offensive coordinator. 3rd and long. It's like a draw play, but that little shovel pass.
29 yards if it stands. It will not. Well, Beamer's team had a touchdown wiped out by a penalty. Now a 29-yard run, or pass actually, wiped out.
Yeah, this is Ferguson in here. You know, it looks like the option they just ran a moment ago.
10 yards from the spot of there. Repeat 3rd down.
They have an offensive MVP. It's Jared Ferguson, number 27.
His 45th straight start today, and boy, Coach Beamer was high in his praise of Ferguson.
Has done everything for them. Run, block, catch. Came in as a walk-on 4 years ago. As a high school tailback, 180 pounds, and worked his way up to get a scholarship and to be a premier player.
Saw those yards penalized, but that doesn't really tell the whole story. A touchdown wiped out, and now a long first down pass wiped out, and pressure on Noel causes the incompletion.
Dockett is just unbelievable. Darnell Dockett, number 45, is so quick off the ball at 285 pounds. This guy, in their last game against Georgia Tech, had 5 tackles for losses. Man, he is quick.
Steve Spurrier, the Florida coach, accusing Dockett of a dirty play, and one time he was wearing a wristband that said not guilty. Big controversy between those two heated rivals, Florida and Florida State. Dominic Robinson accepting the Vinnie Burns punt. It chases him backwards. Burns got a leg into it, and great coverage again by the Virginia Tech special teams.
D'Angelo Hall, I think, who made that tackle.
He and Eric Green speeding downfield for great coverage. Virginia Tech clinging to a 3-0 lead.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks for all your help.
It's my job.
Wow.
Honey, can we start now?
Yes. Yes, we can.
We know how you feel, and that's why we're here. Circuit City. We're with you.
Sweetie.
Yeah, just put that anywhere.
Hey, boys, what y'all doing?
Just out here checking these old fences.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, is that $1?
Yeah, it's on my side of the fence.
Wrong. That's on my side.
No, that's on my side.
It is on my side.
Guys, it's just $1.
Oh, yeah, with 10, 10, 220, all calls up to 20 minutes or 99 cents.
20 minutes for 99 cents?
And 7 cents a minute after 20.
Wow, that's cheap.
Guess he had to make a phone call. Call me.
Dial 1010-220.
I always say, don't judge a man until you see what's in his garage. I'm a guy who craves power. Power that only Optima batteries deliver. The red top Optima for more starting power in any weather. Optima blue tops for all the marine power you can handle. And Optima yellow tops for the big time auxiliary power in this baby. Optima batteries are different. They take cold, heat, and vibration better than other batteries. Yeah, Optima batteries, the ultimate power source.
The 2002 Toyota Gator Bowl is brought to you by Circuit City. We know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And by Just for Men. More than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator. Ends gray in 5 minutes, looks natural. Look, there's the World Golf Village and Hall of Fame in nearby St. Augustine, Florida. Northern Florida's been a little chilly here the last few days, but the sky is clearing. A lot of bright sunshine today, and comfortable temperatures in the 60s. What's that?
It's not a Hokie. I know that. It's some sort of white bird. He doesn't seem too distracted about all the activity. He's about 3 yards away from the wide receiver. He's right down here. Not concerned. Didn't even move.
Maddox on the carry. I thought he was in coverage.
He's still there. He just says, yeah, he's not, he doesn't realize these guys are all 6'4", 6'5", 300 pounds.
You know what? I bet he'd be good on coverage, though. He can fly.
Oh, that's a shoehorn job, if I've ever heard of one. But look, he is just plopped right there on the 14-yard line. Wouldn't get in the ball, didn't gain much yardage.
Two tight ends, Hughes and Donaldson. Florida State faces a 2nd and 7. Tech shows blitz. They don't come. And a quick toss to Bell. Bell looks for a block, twisted down, just a yard short of the first down by Larry Austin. Gain of 6.
I was talking to Chris Ricks, the Florida State quarterback, yesterday, who grew up in Southern California, and one of his high school teammates, Paul Reyna, very, very close friend of his, wore number 95. died his first week at Boise State. Went to Boise State in a football scholarship, had a head injury. And in his honor, he wears this number 95 on his wristband. And over Christmas, Chris came home and went to Paul's grave with Paul's mother, Carolyn. First time he's been able to do that in over a year. And he's always has Paul Raymond in his mind when he plays.
Greg Jones dives ahead for a first down. Gain of 6.
This is a guy that I think is going to, if he keeps progressing, has a chance to have a really big career at Florida State. A lot of young players coming back next year. He is like a third running back. Tom, you just mentioned how they may incorporate his running skills for the very first time, really, in a Florida State offense next year. And he's a hard worker. He's a blue-collar type of quarterback, coachable kind of guy. He's got a strong arm. Throw a greasy pork chop past a hungry wolf kind of thing.
Good baseball player, a center fielder, too. Here's his pass. And he had Bell open. And it falls incomplete.
That's 1 of 5. My math tells me that's 20%, right?
Right.
And they like actually 50% on this. Is there a flag down?
Yeah, flag down. It's going to be a hold against Florida State.
The white bird doesn't care. He's still down there. But they want to complete 50% of their deep balls. There he is. Still, that guy has just not moved this whole series.
During the play, holding, offense, 10 yards, previous spot, repeat first down.
Bobby Bowden talking about how this bowl game really a lot of fun for his team. You know, they've had the pressure of playing the national championship series the last 3 years for the national championship. And this has been a little bit different. He wants to win just as bad, they said, but it's been a little bit looser.
He trails 3-0. We're in the second quarter, 9.5 minutes left. And State with a 1st and 20 from the 23 after the penalty.
5 whiteouts.
And Ricks is going to run with it. Dives across the 30-yard line. Covered by McAdam and Housewright. He got 8 yards back.
You know, I thought it was amazing. Florida State has not had a quarterback have positive rushing yardage since Charlie Ward in 1993 until this year, when Chris Ricks ran for almost 400 yards. And this gives him that opportunity. 5 wide receivers. You forced Virginia Tech to kind of spread it out a little bit. He's got very good speed, under 4.5, although he's 6'4", 210 pounds.
Second down and 12. Plenty of time for Ricks, who sets his feet and delivers complete to midfield to the running back Maddox. Hit by Willie Pyle, but a 19-yard gain and a Seminole first down.
Yeah, Nick Maddox, number 20, is part running back, part receiver. As a matter of fact, a year ago, he played wide receiver. And even as it is that empty backfield again where he lines up as a wide receiver, as good balls go, that's a terrific catch. That that looked like it was going to get picked off by Willie Pyle, the free safety of Virginia Tech, until a great adjustment by Maddox.
Former North Carolina Player of the Year at Kannapolis.
Going back the 3rd play in a row with empty backfield, 5 wide receivers. In the blitz.
Quarterback draw. And Ricks got about 5 yards. Ducks out of bounds. Just short of the 45. Chased out by Daniels. Gave him about 4 yards on the game. Was that improvisation or a planned quarterback draw?
No, I think that was an impromptu play by Chris Ricks. And look at the kind of year he had. A slow start. Really kind of picked up mid-season, actually. Bobby Bowden opened the quarterback position to a competition because Chris was struggling. And that's when he really responded and played well the second half of the year. But he needs to keep progressing. He needs to make better decisions. If he does that, he's going to have a big career at Florida State.
Second down and 6. He's in the shotgun this time with 4 wides. Pass is too high and incomplete.
Well, the fastball is going a little high.
Yeah, it was. A rising fastball on that one intended for Gardner, who was covered by Roniel Whitaker.
I talked to Jeff Bowden a week ago about Chris Ricks. He said, you know, he does have a very strong arm, can really squeeze the ball in there. But what we're working on with him is really developing a little bit more touch.
Third down and 6. 8th play of the drive, which began at the 18 of the Seminoles. 4 wide receivers. Shotgun formation. Chris Ricks. Tech shows blitz. Coming after him. He got rid of it. And bouncing right off. Gardner, the receiver. Covered by Austin.
Yeah, and well covered by Larry Austin. We've talked about it. These Virginia Tech corners, Larry Austin, Roniel Whitaker, Eric Green, who's the 3rd corner. It's a courageous throw because Ricks knew he was going to get hit.
A little behind Gardner, but a catchable ball.
Yeah. But these corners are out there. You always talk about being an island. They're out there all by themselves most of the day.
Waltney's punt to Davis, who calls for a fair catch. He's going to let it bounce, and it bounces into the end zone for the touchback.
See a flag down across the way.
46-yard punt will check the penalty. It's going to be against Florida State. The illegal procedure against the Seminoles.
So Frank Beamer say decline that one. We'll take it on the 20.
Illegal formation. Only 5 in line of scrimmage. The penalty is declined. First down.
And Bobby Bowden makes a note of that. 7:43 remaining. It's 3-0 Virginia Tech over Florida State. 7:43 left, second quarter. 3-0 Virginia Tech. And it's time for our Aflac trivia question. First question of 2002. What players have won the Heisman Trophy and played in the Gator Bowl in the same season? And while you ponder that, we'll have the answer for you in a couple of plays or so. Meanwhile,
another bird down there in the end zone. See that one?
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
First down for Tech at its own 20-yard line. Play action fake, and Noel rolls the other way. Pass complete. Nope, juggled as he went out of bounds. It'll be ruled incomplete.
Well, that looked like a nice throw by Grant Noel.
Davis looked like he had it for a moment, but there was juggling as he went out of bounds. So Noel now 4 of 8 for 100 yards on the game. Samuels covering for Florida State, the cornerback who was thought maybe to be out, and obviously is on the field and playing.
And he started the year with hard casts on both hands. And he got injured a couple of days ago, or hurt an ankle, and wasn't supposed to play today.
Here are the numbers on Noel. FSU has outgained Virginia Tech 105 yards to 94. And the running game has been basically non-existent for the Hokies as Ferguson gets 2. Let's go down to Chris Raggy.
Tom, thank you. You may be surprised Virginia Tech is even in a bowl game with their All-American having gone down in the first half of the first game of the season. Lee Suggs joins us now. Lee, what's it been like to obviously have to sit out this season, but see the team still perform well?
Well, with all the expectations I had coming into the season, and then going out the first game, it's been the toughest thing I had to deal with. But helping my teammates and coaches and my family, we got through it, and the team is doing well without me. So,
especially after a day like today where you had 3 touchdowns at the Gator Bowl last year.
Yeah, so I'm just out here cheering on my team, and doing well without me. So I keep it going.
And your replacements, how would you gauge what they've done so far this season? Those guys have had 2 big years.
Yeah, well, they came along real good during the season, and next year when I come back, we're just going to have an even better backfield.
So you definitely will come back next year.
Yeah, I'm definitely coming back next year.
Lee Suggs, continued good health. Tom, back to you.
All right, Chris and Frank Beamer relishing having Kevin Jones and Suggs in the same backfield. Tech has to take a timeout, but they lead 3-0.
Hey, if we get hurt. Whoa, good thing we got that insurance. What's that?
From the snowy slopes to sunny Jacksonville, where Tech leads State 3-0. Our Aflac trivia question, what players have won the Heisman Trophy and played in the Gator Bowl in the same season? And here is the answer. John David Crow, who played for Bear Bryant at Texas A&M in 1957, who is in the Gator Bowl Hall of Fame and is here at the game today. Pat Sullivan, the Auburn quarterback, and George Rogers, the running back from South Carolina, won the Heisman and played in the Gator Bowl in the same season. Virginia Tech facing a 3rd and 9 from their own 21. Noel fumbled the snap for a moment. His protection broke down. He got rid of it, but incomplete. A diving attempt made by Emmett Johnson as Noel hit the deck under the rush.
Dockett, hey, Darnell Dockett. Now, and watch how quickly, see that first step, Tom? He runs right around Luke Owens. It's just so hard to handle those first couple of steps, those good pass rushers really do that. They're like sprinters.
Dominic Robinson awaiting the Vinnie Burns punt. Blocked by State, and they will have it. They give Frank Beamer a little taste of his own medicine.
Yeah, it's Bowden ball. You know, that is the 96th block kick during Bobby Bowden's tenure. We talk so much about Frank Beamer's special teams. Bobby Bowden said, you know, until we had Deion Sanders, we used to try to block every punt.
Let's see if we can determine who got it. Marcelo Church was in there.
Yeah, I think it was he. 66 Church. And then he made the recovery. Right up, yeah, indeed it was Church. Good call. But again, staggering number of blocks they've had. As I said, 96, and over the past 11 years, they've had 24 block punts.
Perfectly executed, and the Seminoles have it inside the 1-yard line of the Hokies. High formation in the backfield. The tailback is Jones. Sneak by Ricks. Touchdown.
Well, in the national championship game 2 years ago, they blocked a punt for a touchdown. 2 years later, they block a punt and a 1-yard, I guess, drive, we'll call it, after the block punt. The great special teams by Bobby Bowden and the Seminoles.
Wow. So in a game where the defenses have dominated, a special teams play, a blocked punt, sets up the first touchdown of the contest. Now Bethea will attempt the extra point. And it hooks through the uprights, but good nevertheless. There's the touchdown on the sneak by Chris Ricks. After the block punt gave him the ball inside the 1. And for the first time today, Florida State is on the scoreboard, and they grab the lead from Virginia Tech. 6:32 left. Church with a blocked punt, and Beamer now trails 7-3. Florida State leads 7-3 after FSU's third blocked punt of the season. This one by Marcelo Church, who comes right up the middle, blocks it, and recovers. And once Florida State had the ball, Bobby Bowden knew just what to do.
Hey, why don't you where's the ball? A quarterback sneak. Quarterback sneak. Quarterback sneak.
Did you get the message, Jeff Bowden? Quarterback sneak. When Dad says quarterback sneak, yeah, that's what you get. Yeah. And Rick scored the Seminole touchdown.
Yeah, Coach always calls the good ones, right? But Ricks may have hurt a thumb on that quarterback sneak.
Jesse Stein's kickoff. Short. Just tripped up. 35-yard line. Virginia Tech will take over. So a 1-yard scoring drive, one play. Wayne Ward was returning that kick, one of the up men for Virginia Tech, and Jackson made the stop for Florida State.
Bobby Bowden had a nice conversation with me yesterday. I didn't know he was a World War II buff.
Yeah, really.
But indeed he is. Started when about age 9, he said.
Well, his grandfather lost his job in the Depression and came to live with them. Said he shared a room with him for several years, almost 10 years. And at the height of World War II, he was 6 years old, I believe he said, when the war began. And he was, as we get the running play to Jones. And he said he was sick and confined for a period of almost a year. All he had to do was to listen to the radio for war news, to read Life magazine. His grandfather kept him up on it, and he has been a World War II buff ever since. Many of his family and friends, of course, were involved in the war. He's traveled to many of the sites, and he also said he was interested in World War I and Napoleon.
Yeah. But interesting man.
He is a very interesting man. And
success.
One of the charmers, too,
he sure is, boy.
Counter play to Ferguson results in a Virginia Tech first down.
Look at
7-yard gain.
Wow. 73% of the times he wins his bowl games. And remember, a lot of these times games are against you know, the major bowls, top flight competition like he has today. It's an incredible record that he's had over 47 years. I think that the profession has gotten more and more difficult. You're not going to see guys stay in this profession 47 years.
Winningest bowl coach ever, and the native of Birmingham can tie Bear Bryant with 323 wins with a victory today. Knowles pass broken up. Intended for Wilford, and Stanford Samuels able to bat it away.
You know, when you talk about the all-time winning coaches, I don't think any of us give Eddie Robinson enough credit, though. I mean, Eddie Robinson's always left out of the mix. He wasn't a Division I-A coach, but Eddie Robinson at Grambling won more games than anybody in the history of the game. Yeah. And he deserves, my estimation, to be included among those great ones.
5:21 left till halftime. 7-3 Florida State. Virginia Tech 2nd and 10 from the 49. Tried to hand it to Jones.
Jones
on his track. Boulware was the first to hit him.
I don't think Jones wanted it.
Loss of 9. Michael, I don't blame him. Michael Boulware, who wore number 57 last season, now wears 58, the same as his brother Peter, a Florida State All-American, now a Baltimore Raven.
Right there. Absolutely comes cleanly. And Kevin Jones was actually trying to spin before he even got the ball. But, you know, that's a well-designed blitz, Tom. You know, give Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, and his staff some credit. That's a lot of scouting to have a guy come that cleanly on a blitz.
Spinning, I thought he was trying to give it back to Noel.
He may have been.
Noel with a play-action fake. Hit as he releases, and it's almost intercepted. Intended for Emmett Johnson, and Malcolm Tatum had a good shot at it, but could not hold on.
Yeah, that's number 3, Malcolm Tatum. They really kind of play 5 corners right here. There's a chance. That's why those guys play corners, not wide receivers.
Ball was underthrown, and in fact, Johnson was behind the defense. Dominic Robinson awaiting the Burns spot. Last one was blocked. This one he got away, but might have been thinking about that block, and it's not a good one as it takes first a Florida State bounce, then rolls the other way a little bit and is down at the 30-yard line. It'll be only a 31-yard punt. Florida State starting to gather momentum in the closing stages of the first half. Tom Hammond, Pat Hayden, and Chris Raggi at Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida. The Toyota Gator Bowl, a defensive-dominated game. The only touchdown scored by Florida State after a blocked punt gave them the ball inside the 1-yard line of Virginia Tech. Tech scoring a field goal on its first possession of the game, so the defenses have dominated thus far with 4 minutes, 17 seconds left till halftime. Florida State with the first down at its own 30-yard line. Chris Ricks sends it deep down the sideline, intended for the goal. And he's
caught, yeah.
Down at about the, well, they're going to mark him at the 29-yard line. So a 42-yard reception. Darnell Wilds covering for Tech, and Thorpe makes the catch.
And the 6th deep ball, the second completion. A perfect throw by Chris Ricks. Got enough air on it. Let Thorpe run under it without overthrowing him. And that's you know, pretty good coverage. That was just an excellent offensive play by the quarterback, Chris Ricks. And Thorpe adjusting to the ball. What a big freshman year Rafonso Thorpe has had, and giving the Seminoles a lot of optimism for next year.
The freshman from Tallahassee Lincoln High School on a state championship team. You know, the officials were, as you see, Adibi a little slow getting up, heading to the sideline.
Yeah, we talked about how they like to throw the ball down the field so much. 50% on those 25-plus yard passes. Kind of where they want to be. I think the receivers can out-jump, out-athletic most defensive backs. They get another tomahawk on his helmet for that.
Doesn't have much room for many more. As the Noles in business with a first down at the 28-yard line. Gardner picks his way to the 17 as the Florida State offense suddenly finding life against this tough D of the Hokies. 11-yard gain on that one.
Okay, Tallman Gardner was a guy who came in with very big expectations at Florida State, but this year, his third year, his junior year, only year he's been able to stay healthy, and he has really turned it around. 7 touchdown catches the last 5 games, 11 for the year. And you know what Florida State really hasn't had a lot of this year, Tom, is those, 40, 50-yard runs after short catches. They've caught deep balls, but they haven't really run with the ball after the catch much as they have in past years.
From the 18, first down, handoff to Jones. Greg Jones trying to turn the corner. And the Virginia Tech defense stops it for no gain.
And we talked about those tomahawks to get on the helmet there, and you see them in most of the Florida State players. In a few schools I know where you actually can lose tomahawks. You take those off for bad plays. You fumble the ball, you make a bad play on defense, you miss a tackle. One of the tomahawks come right off the helmet. Actually, players can select where they go on the helmet, too, I found out. Some put in front, some put in the back, some put them in their cars.
Second down and 10. Blitz from Tech. And they back out of it. Let's see. Here they come. Ricks sacked back to the 30-yard line. 4th sack of the day for the Tech defense. And the second by Mike Daniels.
See, Tom, I think when you feel a blitz coming, you have to give up on the play-action fake. I think the worst thing you want to do is turn your back to a blitzing linebacker or safety like Mike Daniels, number 31, was there. Now, they call it the play-action fake. He sees it. He reads it. I mean, he sees the blitz. But see, you turn your back, you have no chance to avoid Mike Daniels. I think you just back out, and with his quick feet, he could have made Mike Daniels miss if he didn't, go for the play-action fake.
So now it's 3rd down and 20. The ball all the way back to the 28-yard line.
Took a sack in this situation earlier in the game. Has to avoid that to get out of field goal range.
5 wide receivers, empty backfield.
Somebody moved early.
Yep, flag down. It'll be 5 more yards, make it 3rd and 25.
Rhett Williams, number 72, who's had a phenomenal year for the Seminoles as one of their tackles.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5 yards. The down remains 3rd.
Brett
Williams voted the best blocker in the ACC, right?
Yeah, by the defensive coordinators. Those are the guys that really count. Defensive coordinators voted him the best blocker in the ACC. Missed the last couple of games. Has not given up a sack this year. And he plays with he flip-flops. He plays their open side, so he's got a lot of good pass rushers on his corner.
Now 3rd down and 25. Ricks with a short drop. Sends it toward the end zone, but too far for Javon Walker, who was covered by Whitaker and Daniels, the linebacker.
And remember those, don't overthrow those. That's what Bobby Bowden said. Don't overthrow those deep balls. It was now the 5th one over 25 yards.
Chris Ricks now 7 of 15, 139 yards and an interception. And it's 4th down for the Seminoles. They have 1 timeout left with 1:31 showing on the clock till halftime. And at halftime, we'll have the Sun America halftime report. Hannah Storm from our New York studios. And she'll talk live with the new coach of the Fighting Irish, Tyrone Willingham, announced at noon today as the new Notre Dame coach. And Hannah also will take a look at Michael Jordan's latest performance. 45 points last night against the Nets, following up that 51-point outing against the Charlotte Hornets. So all that coming up on the Sun America halftime report. Interested to hear from the new Notre Dame coach, Tyrone Willingham, who leaves Stanford and comes to South Bend.
And Frank Beamer, as we talked to him yesterday, he said he was contacted. He talked to Notre Dame about the job, but wanted to stay in Blacksburg because he felt, hey, not only is he a graduate of the university, I've really been part of turning this program around, and boy, he's gotten it turned around, getting some of the best recruits in the country, best recruits in the state.
Bethea will attempt the field goal now on 4th down. It'll be a 50-yarder. It would be his longest of the season. He's made 8 in a row, and this one, yes, just sneaks over the crossbar.
Well, I thought for a second that ball might have been tipped a little bit. But, boy, he sure looks like, Bethea looks like he has a strong leg. Good snap.
14 of 15 this season. Just getting across.
Yeah, that's a weapon. When your kicker goes 14 of 15 on the year, that is solid. You know, it gives the offensive coordinator a lot more opportunities. You can be a little bit more aggressive with your play calling.
That's a third in field goal accuracy in Division 1A, and is his 9th in a row. So Florida State ups its lead in the final 1:26 now of the first half, as they go up 10-3 on the Hokies. And Jesse Stein will kick it off for the Seminoles. This one to Johnson at the 1-yard line. Richard Johnson just tripped up as he crosses the 20-yard line. A 23-yard return. Special teams play by Gennaro Jackson, who's had a couple of special teams tackles.
A 22-yard return.
Well, Grant Knoll finds himself with 119 and 1 timeout remaining. Big play receivers Andre Davis, but you know, we haven't seen much of Jarrett Ferguson as a receiver today, Tom, and came into the game as their second leading receiver. Tight ends caught a couple, but they'd really like to, you know, use that tight end fullback combination. Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator of Florida State, said ordinarily, you know, you don't even pay attention to the fullback on most teams, but when you play against Virginia Tech, he's one of the first guys you have to defend in the passing game.
So Bethea's career-long 50-yard field goal puts Tech now down a touchdown with a minute 19 on the clock. Remember, Virginia Tech had a touchdown called back by penalty as Jones spins for a couple of yards.
Darnell Dockett again making the tackle. This Darnell Dockett is one heck of a player. People at University of Florida may have some problems with him, but the people who are Florida State fans like the way he plays. Only a sophomore. 37 tackles for losses in his career.
And 22 this year was the Florida State record. Inside the final minutes. Tech will keep it on the ground to Jones. Can't turn the corner, run out of bounds for a loss on the play by Florida State. And also will stop the clock with 43 seconds. 5-yard loss.
Yeah, that's an error. Either if you're going to run out the clock, you got to stay in bounds.
A loss of 5.
Florida State has 1 timeout left. 43 seconds.
Remember, they blocked a punt, too, and I think they nearly blocked a second.
There's been virtually no rushing in the game today. -3 for Tech and only 9 yards for FSU. Draw play.
Florida State should call a timeout.
Yep.
They should really call a timeout.
7-yard gain there. Alonzo Jackson, the tackle of Jones.
They did. Yeah, they used their last timeout.
Gain of about 1.
I'd go for a punt block.
Yep, well, they've done it once, like you said.
And, you know, with only 34 seconds, you probably, if you let them try to return it, you're probably not going to have time for a drive. So I'd absolutely go after it. Marcelo Church, the backup linebacker who blocked the first punt.
Right. 2 coaches that have a lot of respect for each other. Bobby Bowden saying to Frank Beamer, who was talking about trying to get Virginia Tech amongst the elite of college football, said, Frank, you've arrived. Don't worry about that. You're there. And, of course, Beamer high in his praise of Bobby Bowden, 72 years old and still going strong. Robinson is deep. Let's see if they come after Burns. Got it away. Makes a good Virginia Tech bounce this time inside the Florida State 40-yard line. Down at about the 37. A 40-yard punt. Wayne Ward downed it on special teams coverage. And 23 seconds left in the half.
Well, we know one thing about Florida State. They're not afraid to throw the ball down the field. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them indeed give those wide receivers. Javon Walker's caught a nice long pass today.
So is Thorpe.
Yeah. You know, the 2 starting wide receivers were hurt in August. And that kind of led to some of the slow problem, or the problems early in the season the Seminoles had. A lot of young receivers and good receivers returning.
Got 4 receivers on this play, and McCray in the backfield with Ricks. Ricks steps up and delivers incomplete. Over the middle, intended for Bell.
Bell kind of just hooked, and Ricks was expecting him to shuffle a couple of steps to the right.
So Ricks now 7 of 16 in the game. 139 yards, 1 picked off. 18 seconds showing on the clock. Florida State lines up in the I formation this time with Ricks under center. And they're going to hand it off and bring the half to an end. Greg Jones, unless Jones can get free, and he fights his way for a first down. Somebody forgot to tell Greg Jones.
Yeah, right.
And now a late flag.
Angel Hall got a lot of Greg Jones's knee in his face on that one.
Again, it's a Big Ten crew.
Bet you they like this warm weather, huh? The Big Ten.
If you're a Floridian, you wouldn't say this was warm, but if you're from the Big Ten, yes.
Yes.
After the play, personal fouls on the offense, personal fouls on the defense. Those all offset. First down.
10 seconds left. Play of the half goes deep. Gardner makes the catch, but he was out of bounds. So incomplete to bring the first half to a close. Florida State taking command late in the half. They lead it.
Isn't bad for a group this inexperienced.
Halftime at the Toyota Gator Bowl with Florida State leading Virginia Tech.
Just keep playing the way we're playing. Offensively, we've had some good plays and had them called back and this and that, but really, it really got down to a block kick if they get on the 1-yard line, and that's kind of the difference right here. So, I think we're right in it. We just got to do our thing.
Bobby kind of got you with a taste of your own medicine on special teams with a block punt there.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're very athletic, and they got ability over there.
Good luck in this second half. Coach, Tom, let's go upstairs to you.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. As we get ready for the second half, Virginia Tech, you'll remember that special teams beamer ball and the Florida State blocked punt led to the touchdown, and then a career-long 50-yard field goal accounting for the 10 Florida State points. Virginia Tech had a touchdown called back by a holding penalty and a 29-yard first down pass wiped out by penalty.
And we talked about neither team running particularly well. Virginia Tech only had -2 yards rushing the first half. They averaged almost 200 yards a game, and Florida State wasn't a lot better. They had 19 yards rushing in the first half when they've averaged 160.
Florida State to kick off to get the second half underway. Jesse Stein boots it toward Richard Johnson. Johnson takes it at the goal line. Johnson looks for the wedge, cuts up, and just tackled by the shoe tops at the 30-yard line. Gennaro Jackson with his 3rd special teams tackle of the game.
Well, those stats just tell you it's a pretty good defensive ball game. Total yards are relatively even. Neither team, as you say, can rush the ball. Passing hasn't been phenomenally good either. So in these close ball games, it's generally a turnover or some sort of special teams play that makes the difference.
Virginia Tech's first play from scrimmage in the second half will start from the I formation at their own 29-yard line. The tailback is Kevin Jones. Jones gets the handoff and has a hole up the middle for a moment, closes rapidly, but still gets 5 or 6 yards. And Alan Augustin finally makes the tackle of the talented freshman Kevin Jones, who was held in check by Florida State in that first half.
But, we talked about Frank Beamer turning that program around, and Kevin Jones is really indicative of that. As you said, perhaps the most highly sought-after recruit from high school a year ago. This is following on Michael Vick a couple of years ago, and they got the best player from Virginia and Brian Randall a year ago, and he thinks he's got half of the best players in the state lined up to go to Virginia Tech. So indeed, he is turning this program around, and they're going to play at a high level.
Here's Knowles' first pass of the second half, underthrown, but complete as Davis goes back to get it in front of Rufus Brown. Andre Davis with a heads-up reception.
This guy is a quality player, a quality person, and the thing to me amazing about him, Tom, is how well he adjusts to the ball in the air. Now, a lot of fast guys don't seem to adjust to the ball. I've seen him do this several times this year. I watched a bunch of their tapes before this bowl game. And, you know, he's always, you know, underthrown balls, overthrown balls, low balls, high balls. The guy can really adjust to the ball in the air.
2 catches, 81 yards for Davis. A projected first-round NFL draft choice. Florida State showing blitz. Knowles sacked. Gerald Hudson grabbed him by the shoe top for the second Seminole sack of the day.
Gerald Hudson is 277 pounds. Defensive tackle, you think? No. Linebacker. He's a very, very large linebacker filling in for Bradley Jennings. Number 42 right here in the middle. Again, runs cleanly, well-designed blitzes. The backs have to step up a little bit quicker against those blitzing linebackers of Florida State to give Grant Knoll a chance.
Loss of 7 at second down 17. Second sack of the day for the Noles. From the gun. Grant Knowles pass on target, complete. Down to the 20-yard line. The ball ripped loose. Let's see, is it ruled down? Yes. No fumble, ruled down. First catch of the day for Terrell Parham. It goes for 22 yards as Brown and Howard tackled him. The ball is ruled down before it is fumbled.
You know, I like the calls because they aren't running the ball particularly well. Remember, they opened the first half with a pass, a successful pass. They opened the second half with a couple of successful completions. They've got some talented receivers. Still up, still up. Yeah, he's down.
Good call.
Yeah, there's not a fumble. But with Davis, Parham, and Emmett Johnson, we talked about the tight ends and fullbacks and receivers. They spread the ball around to a lot of pretty good receivers.
From the 20-yard line, Virginia Tech first down. High formation. Jones, the handoff, breaks 2 tackles. Ridden down inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line by Abdul Howard. A gain of 6 on first down. Their running game showing signs of perking up a bit.
As good as Kevin Jones is, he's got a long way to go. I mean, he has a chance to being a premier player in college football. But, you know, what the coaches were saying is he's not seen it all yet. He's just dancing a little bit too much in the hole. They'd like to see him explode a little bit earlier in the runs.
Gained over 5,900 yards at Cardinal O'Hara High School. He's from Chester, Pennsylvania. Here he is again. This time to the 10.
He's a guy that everybody in the country wanted, including Florida State. He was one of those summer camps at Florida State a few summers ago.
Scored 84 touchdowns in his career, a national caliber sprinter as well. His dad, Thomas, was a high school basketball All-American. Ranked the #1 recruit in America, Kevin Jones. And rushed for nearly 1,000 yards in his freshman season, though he started only 3 games. Third down and a yard. Faked it to Jones and gave it instead to Ferguson, and he has the Virginia Tech first down. There is a first and goal for the Hokies.
Talk about the great year Kevin Jones has had as a true freshman. Compared to Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson's true freshman year had more yards. Jackson had better yards per carry. It shows you the kind of year, even though he only started those 3 ball games. Look at Herschel Walker's numbers too, which were phenomenal. He had like 1,600 yards as a freshman.
Knoll changing the play. It's a handoff, and Jones gets to the 5-yard line. No gain on the play. Hudson with another tackle for the Seminole defense as they stopped Kevin Jones in his tracks that time.
The Seminoles have had good linebacker play this year. Just mentioned Hudson right there filling in for Bradley Jennings, who had over 120 tackles. Michael Boulware, who's been great in the open field. Kendall Pope is out today. with an injury. Augustine playing for him, but they've really been pretty good at the linebacker position this season.
Ninth play of the drive. Second and goal from the 5. Option play. Pitch to Jones. Got a block on the corner. Touchdown.
Terrific opening drive. And was the block Ferguson?
I think it was Ferguson.
I think it was Ferguson as well. Ferguson's catches the ball, blocks people, runs, face special teams. Good block there by DeMassey, the center, number 61. Winsex, 58. Good turn out by Slukowski, the tight end. And there's 27, the kick out block, Jared Ferguson. Good blocking all the way across the line.
And now Worley to tie the game. And he does as he boots the extra point through the uprights. And on the opening drive of the third quarter, Virginia Tech marches down the field. The option pitch to freshman Kevin Jones. Scores his 6th touchdown of the season, and we're tied at 10. With our producer Jim Bell and our director Kelly Atkinson, Tom Hammond, Pat Hayden, Chris Raggy at the Toyota Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, where Virginia Tech and Florida State are tied at 10 after this beautifully conceived 9-play, 71-yard drive by the Hokies to open the second half, mixing the run and pass to perfection. Thorpe and Sam, the deep men, as John Molerup is set to kick it off for Tech. Tech got a little production from their running game. That drive, something we hadn't seen so far.
7 runs, 2 passes in that drive. Should have mixed it up well. 2 good passes.
Here's Molerup's kick. Taken in the end zone by Sam. PK Sam cuts to the outside. And returns it to the 23-yard line where he's stopped by Brandon Manning. It was a 23-yard return.
Now, Tom, this Virginia Tech defense we talked about has been so good. It's Bud Foster, the defensive coordinator. They're in the top 8 in 6 different defensive categories. Now, you know, the scoreboard shows the Seminoles have scored 10 points. The touchdown really came after a block punt. His defense continues to play well as they have all year long. And second in scoring defense. That's the most critical defensive statistic of all.
Nick Maddox at tailback in this I formation on first down. Ricks, the play action fake, is passed deep and over the head of a true spell.
They don't discourage easily, do they? They just keep on flinging it down that field.
McAdam and Austin covering Bell, and the overthrow has been a problem.
Yeah, we've seen a bunch of them. Most of them on the long balls, which is they don't want to do. 5 overthrows. 2 of 6 on those 25-plus passes. They were looking for at least 50% on those.
And Virginia Tech comes across. Let's see if one of the linemen up front for the Seminoles moved. It's going to be on Tech.
Rambo, the center's signaling it the other way.
Offside, defense, 5 yards. Repeat, second down.
Tom, I'm a little surprised Florida State has not run the ball better. This is a very good offensive line, all underclassmen, but ultimately, I think every single one of these Florida State offensive linemen will be drafted. These are good, athletic, big-bodied players, but they've not run the ball well against this Virginia Tech team.
It's going to be second down and 5 yards after the 5-yard walk-off against Tech. And again from the eye, McCray the fullback, Maddox the tailback. Now Ricks appears to be changing the play.
They're real subtle about calling their audibles. Now I think they're calling another audible. They're checking out of their blitz, I think.
It's a handoff to Maddox, and he nearly broke it. As it is, he got 6 yards and a first down. Sam with a nice block. Willie Pyle makes the tackle for Virginia Tech.
And a nice audible. Good call by Chris Ricks, the quarterback. Good blocking up front there. Real good block by Holland, number 61. Milford Brown, Brett Williams. A little change of pace for them.
First down, Seminoles. Again, Ricks will back up from center and change the play. He has 8 seconds still on the play clock, plenty of time. And off to Max. And Virginia Tech recovers the fumble.
Just a little bit out of rhythm after that audible, and then the blitz by Ben Taylor. I mean, I think kind of messed up the whole rhythm of that handoff.
And then Mike Daniels recovered the fumble. Maddox, it appeared, was juggling the ball after the handoff, never really had it secured.
Yeah, I think he saw, number 40, Ben Taylor was trying to cut actually before he had secured the ball. 31, Mike Daniels, their whip linebacker, really like a nickelback. Yeah, that handoff just never took place. So a big opportunity for the Virginia Tech offense.
Second turnover by the Noles. And Grant Knoll trying to take advantage, throws right at the feet of Browning Wynn, the tight end.
That was one of those tight end fullback combos. The fullback was Jared Ferguson running up the sideline. And I tell you what Florida State's done. They put Michael Boulware, their best cover linebacker, against Ferguson. Boulware, actually, I'm told by Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, is the best cover linebacker they have ever had at Florida State.
Wow.
Again, that's saying something. They've had some great linebackers, but he's the best one in open space.
That will include Michael's brother, Peter, I presume. Second down and 10. Blitz comes. Knoll is sacked by Boulware.
He blitzes like his brother, too.
I'd like to take you to the racetrack.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't want to do that. This is, one of those rare guys, 58, Michael Boulware. You talked about him changing his number. Actually got his face mask pulled, it looked like. But great in open space, terrific speed, really wanted to be a wide receiver. Thought about going somewhere else and play wide receiver, but ultimately came to Florida State. We've seen him covering fullbacks, this time rushing the passer and making the sack.
It'll be 3rd and 16 after the Boulware sack. Knoll fakes one way, gets the other one complete, but not much as Augustin smelled it out. Ferguson makes the reception, and Augustin was ready for him.
Yeah, and you know what? That's really good coaching. We talked about Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator. They knew that the fullback position in Virginia Tech was a real weapon. And so Bobby Bowden and Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, they're making sure that fullback is accounted for every play.
So the turnover does not hurt State, at least not yet, as Robinson is awaiting the punt by Vinnie Burns.
Good pooch.
Yeah, tried to down it deep in Seminole territory, and it took a Florida State bounce, so it'll be down, but at about the 12-yard line by Chad Beasley. 26 yards. Florida State backed up deep in a 10-10 game. .10 game in the 57th Gator Bowl. The Seminoles just surviving a turnover, a fumble by Nick Maddox, who had a few words from his coach as he came to the sideline. There's the fumble, and here's what Bobby Bowden said.
You think you're going to the cutback?
I saw the cutback. I thought I had the
No, the challenge the line of scrimmage first down here. Keep cutback way back there.
Still coaching after all these years. 72 years old, and it's not a national championship game, but he's not a CEO type. He's still coaching every down.
Mater at fullback, Jones at tailback on this first down play as the Seminoles survived the fumble, but now backed up deep. Here's the pitch to Jones on the sweep. He's trapped behind the line and spun down. There are flags flying. Might have been a face mask. David Pugh and Coles Colas had him, but perhaps by the mask.
Coles Colas, the sophomore at defensive end, that guy is quick. And we talked about time. It's amazing. He was the 100-meter champion in the state of Florida. Number 99, the defensive end for Virginia Tech.
230 pounds.
Yeah.
There are 2 penalties. Illegal block in the back on the offense and face mask penalty on the defense. Those penalties offset. We repeat the first out.
That was on Coles, number 99. Yeah, that's an easy one to call. Ouch. Colas had a good year for Virginia Tech. 2 more years remaining in his career. A guy that's going to create a lot of negative plays, a lot of sacks, a lot of tackles for losses.
He's a prep All-American running back. Here's the draw play handoff to Greg Jones. Virginia Tech not fooled. He got 3, perhaps 4 yards. Willie Pyle, who brought the lunch pail to work today to the Gator Bowl, gets credit for the stop for Tech.
Yeah. Willie Pyle's one of those, free safeties. Great range. He's got good size. 6'3", 206. Good tackler. One of the best tacklers on their team. There's the old lunch pail, emblematic of kind of that blue-collar kind of defense.
Jones again gets the call. Dodged one tackler, ridden down at the 22-yard line by Ben Taylor and Willie Pyle. And he will be very close to the first down.
Well, the lunch pail, we just got a shot at that a moment ago. Each year, it's kind of a tradition at Virginia Tech. Each year, the defensive players kind of write their goals. Each of them then put it in the pail. And then the defensive player of the game gets the lunch pail, and he has to bring it around to all the practices, to the games. It's in the possession of Willie Pyle now. Brought it here to Jacksonville. I think he had a little ham sandwich in there as well, I think I saw.
Well, it is a lunch pail. Well, very close, as you can see. And enough for the first down.
Well, just like Virginia Tech had a little better success running the football in the first series, Florida State needs that same thing. They need to mix in some runs. They've thrown a lot of deep balls, haven't had a lot of success running the ball or with those deep balls, just the one long completion. So, they're going to have to get Greg Jones going, and the offensive line is a very good one, as we talked about a moment ago.
Jones 12 carries for 53 yards. He's at
the sprinter stance there.
Tailback spot. Greg Jones stopped at the line of scrimmage by Taylor and Beasley. See the many faces of Hank Azaria in his new Tuesday night comedy, Imagine That, premiering a week from today. That's Tuesday, January 8th, here on NBC. So no gain on that first down play. Sets up a 2nd and 10 from the Seminole 22. Third quarter, 5 minutes, 39 seconds and counting. And Virginia Tech and Florida State tied 10-10. Play action fake. Chris Ricks in the pocket. Pass is complete to Bell. Hit immediately, but he has first down yardage to the 35-yard line. Larry Austin covering a 14-yard gain on the play. First down, Florida State.
Yeah, good route by Atrus Bell, number 26. Kind of found that area. See, he doesn't have any of those the tomahawks on his helmet, and he purposely didn't want to put any on his helmet because he was a walk-on. And he didn't put on any in his helmet just to remind himself where he came.
Well, he was a walk-on, but he did get a scholarship the first week. He was on the practice field.
He impressed him very quickly.
Greg Jones, tough 4 or 5 yards as we go down to Chris Ragan.
All right, Pat, you were talking before about the blue-collar work ethic. Well, this lunch pail, of course, represents that. I mean, you can't even open this thing now, but now, Pat, what they're doing with every road game, they're digging up some turf after a victory. The turf you see inside the lunch pail right now is from Charlottesville, their last road win, a 31-17 win over Virginia. They're hoping to dig up, but the groundskeeper said, please, not much turf. Back to you guys.
Might have blown their cover there, Chris.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson wouldn't have appreciated that in Charlottesville, I'm sure.
Chris Ricks changing the play. It's 2nd down and 4. It's a handoff to Jones. Greg Jones thrown back, might have gotten a yard.
Mike Daniels, good tackler, isn't he?
He is. He had some help from Welsh and Monroe. He's had a good game, though, has Daniels.
Yeah, he plays what they call their whip linebacker, really kind of a nickel back, 5th defensive back, so they don't have to substitute on 3rd downs. Absolute form tackle by Mike Daniels.
Prep All-American at Fairfax, Virginia High School. School record 18 interceptions. He was a defensive back, wide receiver, punt returner, kickoff returner.
Here's the audible. Because there are 10 defenders close to the line of scrimmage, just one deep free safety.
Ricks, short drop, lobs it up, and it's caught by Bell.
thrown deep ball. More times than not, the wide receiver is going to catch you as he's at a distinct advantage. A true spell, and you could, you called it a lob, Tom. You're exactly right. He wasn't trying to lead him. This was supposed to be a rebound play. And Larry Austin just got a little bit lost. And Bell, who comes from or hails from Jacksonville, playing in front of his home crowd, makes a nice adjustment.
Austin got turned around on the play, and Bell from Jacksonville Lee High School, where he was a quarterback, who passed for over 3,100 yards and rushed for 2,000. Makes the catch on that. Jones. Tough 2 yards. Brian Welsh, senior linebacker, led the team onto the field with the American flag, made the stop. Lamar Cobb got an assist.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about Brian Welsh. Born to an army family, born in Iran, lived in Saudi Arabia, different parts of Africa, the Philippines.
Was in China, 6 years old, with his mom, who worked for the State Department while his dad was temporarily on duty in Lebanon when his dad was killed by a terrorist bomb 17 years ago. He said, I've lived with terrorism and with patriotism for all that time. Greg Jones in the teeth of the Virginia Tech blitz, stopped by Ben Taylor.
You announce Ben Taylor's name a lot. Every time you do a Virginia Tech game, you do. Ben Taylor, number 40, their middle linebacker, their All-American linebacker. This is a guy that's done so much for them this year. Over 120 tackles. He's at 18 tackles for losses. Seen him fight through tackle. 4.5 sacks, fumble recoveries. He's done it all.
Florida State has converted only 4 of 10 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 6. An audible from Ricks.
And there's that bump and run there again.
Ricks. Out of bounds, incomplete. PK Sam, intended receiver.
And PK Sam is saying something. You've got to give, Ricks comes up loving, your receivers a chance. Particularly you're going to throw them those jump balls, Tom. You got to keep the ball in bounds. Ricks saw the one-on-one coverage, tried to throw the lob, but you got to keep it inside. And Whitaker, number 92, or number 2, really using the boundary as an extra defender, did a good job.
Almost like double coverage, using the sideline.
Right.
So Bethea, who kicked a career-long 50-yarder earlier, tees it up for a 47-yard field goal attempt to give the Seminoles the lead, and it is good.
Wow. Wow.
10 in a row for Bethea. 50 and now 47 yards today. He has hit 15 of 16 this season. What a weapon as the Seminoles regain the lead by 3.
That was fun.
Back at the Toyota Gator Bowl, 13-10, Florida State. Their quarterback, Chris Ricks, directing the drive that resulted in the field goal, has some ice on his left shin there after this hit.
Oh, ouch. It looks like it's only a shin. Hurt his hand a little bit earlier. Tough guy. I mean, he does not slide feet first when he runs.
Thea's had the 2 longest field goals of his career today. 47 yards that one, 50 the time before. As Stein's kick is a short one taken by Richard Johnson. Johnson with a seam, breaks to the outside. Richard Johnson all the way to the 46-yard line. 38-yard return. Patrick Newton made the special teams tackle, but a good return. Good field position. Tech's ball when we return.
Tony Campbell.
Chris, is your knee okay? Was it your knee there or what?
Huh?
Your knee?
It just hit me in the shin as I was releasing it.
You okay?
Well, there's an injury update. That's about as accurate as you can get.
Yeah.
Right from the principals. Chris Ricks hitting the shin as he released, as his head coach asked him about the injury. Doesn't appear to be too bad. As after the good kickoff return, Virginia Tech takes over. And Burnell in at tailback, stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Doug Easlick in at fullback on this series for Tech. Travis Johnson making the tackle for Florida State.
Travis Johnson, number 99, had a real good freshman year for Florida State. You know, not like there aren't enough good athletes in Florida for Bobby Bowden. He's from California. You know, his quarterback.
Not fair, is
California. No.
Johnson in motion from the shotgun. Grant Knoll.
Oh, here comes the blitz.
He picked it up, and it's complete. Here's Davis, the speedster, to the sideline. Foot race. Touchdown.
Did you see him outrun the angle?
Oh, he had the angle on him. Chris Hope had the angle.
Unbelievable. Now, and Andre Davis told us yesterday, remember when we talked to him, he said, every time I touch the ball, whether it's a catch, a punt return, a kick return, I'm thinking about going the distance. And indeed he did there. I certainly thought Chris Hope, the free safety, who's got pretty good speed from Florida State, was going to catch him because he had an incredible angle.
55 yards. Andre Davis, the speedster, as the Hokies pick up the blitz long enough for Knoll to get rid of it, and Davis came free, and it was goodbye.
You know, if NFL teams are looking for quality receivers who are quality people, this guy's a quality guy, an academic All-American. And man, I want to say this guy is we've seen him adjust to the ball when he's had to.
But this was just amazing.
Yeah, and Knoll does a great job of hanging in there. Now the angle, I mean, Hope is going to come in the right part of the screen, but he had a really good angle on him. He just outran it.
I wasn't sure if he had stayed in bounds those last few steps, but indeed he showed us balance as well.
Now here's the free safety, Hope.
It's running too fast for you to
That's good play. Grant Knoll hung in there. You know, looked like there were 8 guys blitzing. It looked like good protection. Well-thrown ball, takes the shot, but you don't mind it. Doesn't hurt nearly as much when your wide receivers dancing in the end zone. That's good stuff all the way around by Virginia Tech.
55 yards, a big play from the Tech offense.
The second half has been kind of entertaining, a little different than the first. Yeah.
So Andre Davis today with 3 receptions for 136 yards, including that touchdown catch, which for Davis is 8th touchdown reception of the season.
You know, last year against West Virginia, Davis scored touchdowns 3 different ways. One's on a run, one on a reception, one on a punt return. So capable of hurting you in multiple ways.
The officials have come over to the sideline. I'm not sure what the discussion would concern.
Bobby Bowden was actually kind of joking around at the banquet yesterday about Andre Davis of Virginia Tech. He says, are you sure he hasn't been there 6 or 7 years? He said, can I give him a diploma?
He runs so fast, he's going back in time. You see why he was the 100-meter champion in the Atlantic 10 conference when Tech competed in the Atlantic 10 in track and field.
Pretty good day.
The touchdown gives him sole possession of 2nd place all time in Virginia Tech receiving touchdowns, his 19th.
You can run after the catch. You can adjust to underthrown deep balls. Catches the ball over the middle, you know, with his hands. You know, that's a good offensive philosophy, though, when you're getting guys like that on the move with the ball in their hands, rather than run those hook routes and getting tackled. I'm not exactly sure what's
the holding is up here. We have 29 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
72-202. Thank you.
Some sort of clock problem apparently as the hold up. Meanwhile, the attendance has been announced, 72,202. And there was a lot of controversy, if you have followed Gator Bowl news, about Virginia
will be reset
Tech.
to 40 seconds. 40 seconds at the end of the touchdown play.
So resetting the clock. Virginia Tech actually finished behind Syracuse in the Big East standings. But the Gator Bowl committee, knowing the Hokies bring thousands of fans with them, chose Virginia Tech to repeat in the Gator Bowl, which they won last year at the expense of Clemson. So Thorpe and Sam set to receive Mulrup's kick. It's a short one. Taken by Sam, PK Sam. hit once and then sort of staggered forward and will be stopped shy of the 20-yard line. Only a 12-yard return as the Hokies fired up after that big 55-yard pass play to Davis to put them in front.
And Krebs, number 37 there on special teams. Chris Krebs just did an incredible job. Wow.
So last time we saw Chris Ricks, he had ice on his left shin. Back onto the field here with now 32 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Play action fake and a roll by Ricks. He's going to keep it. And he's knocked flat on his back at the 20-yard line.
Well, you know, he is like a running back, but he ought to slide like a quarterback. This is a guy that has done this all year long. You've seen him acrobatic runs, flips into the end zones. Didn't know he just kind of slipped there.
Yeah, he did. It wasn't as bad as it looked. Mike Daniels hit him, but it was more of a slip than it was a flattening. And it looks like one of the Hokies is shaken up over there on the sideline.
Well, Mike Daniels, the guy who tackled Chris Ricks, who's played so well for the Hokies this afternoon.
There he is, Daniels, the redshirt freshman from Fairfax. Moved over from free safety.
Yeah. It's kind of a third team free safety kind of mid-season when they moved him to that outside linebacker position. It didn't look like an outside linebacker. He's really not. Nickelback. All these defensive players in Virginia Tech can really run and change direction. That's why they score so many defensive touchdowns.
Daniels, a pretty good basketball player too, scored over 1,200 points in Fairfax High School. 21 seconds remaining in the quarter. Two tight end formation. The handoff to Greg Jones. Couple yards. As we're down to 10 seconds remaining in the quarter. Brian Welsh got the tackle for Virginia Tech, and that will be the final play of the quarter. So there's the end of the third quarter at the 2002 Toyota Gator Bowl. The score, Virginia Tech 17 and Florida State 13. And we'll return to the Toyota Gator Bowl after these messages from your local NBC station. Virginia Tech's putting up 14 points in the third quarter after sputtering offensively through the first two. And as we start the fourth, Frank Beamer's Hokies leading Florida State 17-13. Seminoles have the ball, third down and 5 from their own 23. Quarterback Chris Ricks in the shotgun. Three wide receiver formation. Clutched, double pump once, and then just slings it to Walker. And Walker is off to the races. Foot race here with Whitaker. And Walker scores the touchdown.
Fantastic throw by Chris Ricks, who knew he was going to get clobbered. Just knew he was going to get clobbered, but give those wide receivers a chance, and sometimes good things happen. We talked about, you know, he's going to get drilled by McAdam, number 5, the strong safety in the blitz. Actually, a perfect throw to the Javon Walker, who then outruns Whitaker, an awfully good corner in his own right. Whitaker beaten by Peter Warwick 2 years ago. This time is Javon Walker.
Thea's extra point is good. Is this the same game we saw in the first half?
No. Two players. Unbelievable. Well, but really good throw by Ricks. Walker doing a great job of cutting back to, you know, create a better angle so they could get into the end zone without Whitaker catching it. Sometimes you just got to stand in there, Tom, and take it. And Chris Ricks has done that all season long. That's a good play.
Even if you see it from flat on your back. And after Walker's touchdown, the Seminoles seesaw back on top. The 2002 Toyota Gator Bowl is brought to you by Toyota, get the feeling, and by the United States Postal Service. Tom Hammond, Pat Hayden, Chris Raggy, Happy New Year from all of us at NBC. The Toyota Minnesota Gator Bowl is a good one. Florida State leading Virginia Tech 20-17. And a new kicker here for State. Brett Cimarelli with a kickoff toward Richard Johnson of Virginia Tech, and he buried it. Wow.
Nice adjustment there. Well, you got your New Year's resolutions in order, I assume, Tom?
They don't come true if you tell them, do they?
Okay, look at the 25-plus attempts. We said they were going to do this at least 10 times today. 3 completions, 1 for the last big touchdown, 4 incompletes. But, you know, that's okay. That's what they want. They're a big play offensive team, and they've gotten that today in the deep passing game. Even with the 4 completions, you'll take that ratio.
That last drive was 3 plays, 82 yards.
Yeah, got a drive.
Hokies try to answer as Noel rolls out and delivers the pass to Emmett Johnson. It's complete. A gain of 15 yards. And here come the Hokies.
Yeah, completely different game this second half. Still not necessarily great running, but a lot more play action passes, a lot more success throwing the ball. We've seen some runs after the catch, particularly for Florida State, which we have not seen much this year. So that's a real positive sign for the Seminoles.
Spot the ball at the 35-yard line. First down, Virginia Tech. Tailback Jones, one-on-one in the corner, and got around him to the sideline for another first down. Chris Hope finally pushed him out of bounds. A gain of 11 for Kevin Jones.
10-200-meter speed. You know, we've seen some tough runs inside, not necessarily long runs. A good bounce here. Then you see some speed. He's got power. He's got that complete package where he can outrun people, make some tough runs. He can make some long runs, sometimes even in the same run. You know, break a couple of tackles for a long run.
18 carries, 49 yards, and a touchdown for Kevin Jones today. He's the tailback in the eye. Noel fakes to him. Back to pass. Noel delivers it wide and incomplete. Intended receiver Emmett Johnson covered by Samuels.
Well, I tell you, Bob Slokowski, the tight end, did a great job of blocking. You know, they've thrown a couple of passes to the tight end. Occasionally they keep him in to block, and Slokowski, number 87, did a terrific job of keeping the pressure off Grant Noel there.
Slokowski is from Pittsburgh, not known as NASCAR territory, but a lot of the Virginians on this team are NASCAR fans, and they found out that all the Virginians hated Jeff Gordon, so he immediately became Jeff Gordon's biggest fan at Virginia Tech, just to get on those Southerners. Here's the option, and Noel keeps. Knocks out of bounds with a first down at the 41-yard line.
I think that's the longest run of the year for him. Maybe his longest run coming into the game was 12 yards. Wouldn't have 13.
Does have a couple of rushing touchdowns this season, but that was his longest of the season.
You know, in a disciplined play, he really wants to pitch the ball, but it's absolutely wide open there for him to keep it. And he picks up, well, 13, 14 yards there.
More importantly, a first down as the Hokies try to answer the Seminole drive, trailing by 3.
This is a very well-coached team. You know, they've got good talent, not necessarily great talent, but boy, they play hard, they play smart, and they make plays when they have to.
Parham in motion, then resets. Kevin Jones dodging a man at the line of scrimmage and lucky to get a yard. Maybe none.
Darnell Dockett, number 45, comes up out of a lot of piles, doesn't he? Gonna get a few more tomahawks. Dockett's number 45 right down here. Again, a lot of penetration, Had a real tough upbringing, Tom. We've talked about it. His mother was murdered when he was 13. He found her. His father died of cancer 4 months later. He was raised by an uncle.
Noel decides to keep out of desperation and turns a potential disaster into positive play. 4-yard gain.
You know, a regular Michael Vick the last two.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
There are very few Michael Vicks around.
Boy, I saw some clips of him from last Sunday. He's still doing it in the NFL. Man.
Big third down coming for the Hokies here. 3rd down and 6. They have They've converted only 2 of 10 third downs.
And Florida State should double cover that guy. That is Andre Davis.
Noel in the pocket. Completes short and short of the first down. A 5-yard gain as Ferguson out of the backfield made the reception but couldn't break free. And now it'll be 4th down.
Augustin's done a nice job filling in for Pope. I think that was a good tackle of a very good receiver in Jared Ferguson. Greg Beamer said to us yesterday, you know, the first guy usually doesn't tackle Ferguson when he makes a catch, but Alan Augustin did right there.
And he went down. You saw him along the sideline to see how close it was on 4th down, and he elects to go for it. 4th down and a yard from the Florida State 32, the 8th play of the drive. Jones barging ahead. It'll be very close. Florida State defense very excited. They think they stopped him. It is Florida State's ball.
Didn't even measure. I'm willing to guess Darnell Dockett had something to do with that.
So Virginia Tech a little bit out of field goal range, forced to go for it on 4th and 1. Kevin Jones stopped for no gain by Hudson. And the Seminoles take over after this defensive stand. Back to the Toyota Gator Bowl in a moment with Florida State on top. Florida State leading Virginia Tech 20-17. 12 minutes left in the 4th quarter. The Seminole defense just stopping Virginia Tech on 4th and 1 to take over the football at their own 32-yard line. Ricks with a fake of the pitch. Downfield wide open, slipping. And who's got it?
I think it's Walker.
It is Walker.
Yeah.
Walker and Whitaker in a wrestling match for the ball, and it is Walker that wins the tug-of-war for 51 yards.
You know, fantastic fake, Tom. I think we both thought the back had it. Started out with a great fake by Chris Ricks, and then Walker right again against Danielle Whitaker, who's a terrific. Now he's got to adjust better to that when the ball's in the air. He's got to adjust better to the ball in the air, close on that. But he was open by a good 8 yards.
Then Whitaker tried to rip it away, but
it just didn't close.
Yeah, it was almost like he didn't think that they were going to throw it, or the ball could get that far.
Wow.
He slowed down. This time it is a pitch and a reverse with a handoff to Gardner. Stopped for a loss by DeAngelo Hall. And on the previous touchdown, Bobby Bowden saw an advantage.
See if they're pressing us on this 5-yard pass. See if they're playing hard corner on the 5-yard pass. If it is, then you could throw some takeoffs on.
This is the 77-yard completion to Javon Walker that went for the Florida State touchdown. Walker on this drive comes back with a big play as well.
Indeed, that was one of those takeoff routes. Ricks now has thrown 8 of them, completed 4 of those long +25 passes.
And Florida State calls a timeout with 10:54 left in the 4th quarter. And Florida State facing a 2nd down and 13 from the 21. The Olympic Winter Games from Salt Lake just around the corner. Coming up next here on NBC. Join gold medalists Brian Boitano and Christy Yamaguchi as they perform a special holiday number on ice. Metabolize.
Following up on just what Bobby Bowden was talking about, throwing the ball deep. You know, this has been their philosophy. Jeff Bowden, the offensive coordinator, said, you know, we catch at least 50% of those. We think we have the receivers to do that. And they're 4 of 8 on those +25 passes. They've had completions of 44, 42, 77, and 50. And, you know, those are heartbreaking, you know, plays against the defense, Tom. This Virginia Tech defense so stingy, and all of a sudden you play well, and boom, you get a hit for those big pass plays. Bobby Bowden's done it for 26 years in the family business. Jeff Bowden is the offensive coordinator. Bobby has 4 sons, 2 daughters, and 21 grandchildren, most of whom are here.
Rick sets up the screen, threw it over the head of his intended receiver McCray, who took a shot for his trouble from Ben Taylor.
No surprise, Ben Taylor's there. Plays the run, plays the pass, prepares, practices hard, watches tape. I mean, a guy that's just going to read it. See him watching read it right there. Sees the screen, didn't get picked up early enough. Decleater, right? All-American.
20th straight bowl game for Florida State. They're 13-3 of their last 16. First Gator Bowl appearance since '85. They're 3-0-1, trying to win another one.
Big play for Virginia Tech here.
Chris Ricks scrambling, dodging tacklers, then caught from behind and taken down by Chad Beasley, who didn't give up on the play.
You know, Florida State will attempt a field goal here, and again, you have to be careful against Virginia Tech. We talked about how many field goals, punts, extra points they block, and every time they're on the field, especially they think it's an opportunity for them to score.
Bethea has 2 field goals today from 50 and 47 yards. This one 35. He's working on a string of 10 in a row. Has missed only once this season, and this one is up, and it is off the upright and through.
My goodness. Kind of shaking his head. So is Coach Beamer.
Bounce off the upright and fell through. When things are going well, they're going well.
You know, you think about all those Florida State field goals that went wide over the years. Don't you? All those Florida State fans wish they just had one of those in those games against Miami. Just one. Boom. That's a...
Bobby Bowden has never lost to Virginia Tech. He's 13-0. Frank Beamer has never beaten the Seminoles. He's 0-5. Right now, Bowden has the upper hand, 23-17. 10 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in the Toyota Gator Bowl. 23-17 Florida State as the clouds have moved in Jacksonville. Seminoles 5 plays, 51 yards for Bethea's 3rd field goal of the game. And they are up by 6. Brett Cimarelli, who kicked off the last time and sent it deep into the end zone, boots it toward Richard Johnson, and this one is a loose ball picked up by Johnson at the 5, and a disastrous turn of events there for the special teams of the Hokies. Can't allow that to happen.
Yeah, I think Johnson thought the ball was going to hop out of bounds.
So trailing by 6, Virginia Tech begins from its own 8-yard line.
Well, Virginia Tech still has some pretty good offensive weapons if they can protect Grant Knoll. I mean, first of all, you got an outstanding runner in Kevin Jones who can go the distance. He hasn't done so today. You got a good tight end fullback combination, and Andre Davis, who's had a big day, is still available. He's down here.
He's in motion now. And resets. Knoll passing complete. Ferguson takes it out of bounds at about the 11-yard line.
You know, Ferguson kind of patted that woman on the shoulder saying, "You okay?" Almost ran her over, and just kind of making sure she was okay. Walk-ons do that. They're nice guys. They really are. There she was. Dangerous over there sometimes. But again, their 2nd leading receiver. That's his 26th catch of the year. He's carried the ball 35 times, blocks for tailbacks, quarterbacks, and reverses. I think their offensive MVP of the year.
Set all the Virginia Tech fullback receiving records this season. Option. Knoll keeps and is punished by the Seminole defense. First to hit him, Chris Hope.
Progress, but I was cranking.
Grant Knoll more anxious than anybody to get this game started. As we said, pretty good day Took that sack, hung in there a couple of times, though, delivered the ball well, had one touchdown pass called back, too. Big third down for him here right now.
They've been woefully inept on converting third downs in the game. Noel takes the high snap. His pass on target and complete for the first down. Andre Davis makes the clutch catch, hit by Tatum, but 15 yards, and Virginia Tech does convert that third down.
Yeah, he had lots of time because he kind of rolled right into coverage, and he worried about that deep, you know, you catch a couple of deep balls, boy, you get corners playing soft coverage on you, don't you, Tom?
Yeah.
And then you come right back. Yeah, you're right. You run the hook route, you catch the ball for the first down. So good sequencing of plays. A lot of time because he rolled right. Had a clear window to his receiver, Andre Davis. Move the chains.
12 of 21, 245 yards, and a touchdown for Grant Noel. State showing blitz, and it's a keep by Noel, who dives across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Good first down play. A gain of 6 yards by Noel.
Yeah, he's using everything he has. Still plenty of time. A little bit over 8 minutes in the game. He's got all 3 of his timeouts remaining. Trails by 6. No need to rush yourself at this point.
And off to Kevin Jones.
That's a good 3-yard run.
And it's enough for a first down.
You know, Kevin Jones is going to have a bunch of 20 and 30 and 50-yard runs in his career at Virginia Tech, but sometimes you need 3-yard runs, Tom, to pick up first downs, you know. And highly recruited tailbacks sometimes are always looking for 50, 80-yard kind of runs, but when you need a 3-yard run, you run just like he did there.
Carries for Jones today, and Noel's first down pass is caught right on the sideline by Emmett Johnson. A gain of 6, covered by Stanford Samuels. As the Hokies continue to chew up yardage in bits and pieces.
What Frank Beamer has done for this program since he came there in 1987 has been astounding. And the patience of administration, because he got off to a very, very slow start. He said the key to us here was the 1993 Independence Bowl when they won a ball game, and that really started the run.
Well, a nifty little move there by Kevin Jones at the point of attack. Then he puts on the power and moves past the down marker. 5 yards, first down. Chris Hope, the tackle.
Yeah, he's got good moves, he's got power, and he's got speed. Inside the hole, you know, it's easy to make nice moves out there in open space, but when you're in tight areas trying to make moves, that distinguishes good running backs. Chester, Pennsylvania, recruited by everybody, thought about at the end going to Penn State, but ultimately decided on Virginia Tech. And Frank Beamer landed another one, another highly thought of recruit.
Nose of the football on the midfield stripe. First down, Virginia Tech. Noel, first down pass in the pocket. Wings it downfield. Jump ball situation. The pass incomplete. Intended for Emmett Johnson, battling with the ball with Malcolm Tatum. Saturday, January 12th, watch as golf's future stars look to earn a coveted spot on the PGA Tour in On the Brink, the PGA Tour qualifying tournament. The best of this year's class at Q School. On the Brink, the PGA Tour qualifying tournament, Saturday, January 12th on NBC.
A good play by Tatum, Malcolm Tatum.
Could that have been called interference?
I don't think so. No, I think he was just getting in very good position, didn't grab him.
And Noel up to the line of scrimmage with the play clock already down at 7 is forced to call a timeout.
Well, you hate to burn one that early when you're down by 6.
First timeout of the second half. They'll have a couple remaining. Gator Bowl championship still up for grabs. 6 minutes, 21 seconds left. 5 defensive backs on for the Seminoles on second down and 10 from midfield for Virginia Tech.
Somebody moved.
Yep. Flags fly. Could be offside against Florida State. Thought they were setting.
Some offensive guys may have been moving too.
Could be. When you see a guy getting ready to come after you, sometimes you get a little antsy.
Contact illegal by the defense. 5 yards. Repeat, second down. Please reset the clock. 6-2-1.
Yep, yeah. Darnell Dockett, number 45, right in the neutral zone.
Trying to get a head start, and it costs him 5 yards. That's the 4th penalty for 25 yards against Florida State. And it makes it 2nd and 5. That's big. Virginia Tech. 9th play of the drive. Option and a pitch to Jones. He's got a block from Ferguson. And Florida State, the pursuit was excellent, and Jackson makes the play. Alonzo Jackson.
Yeah, and Abdul Howard, number 12, was a pretty good, did an excellent job as well. I mean, when that first started out, it looked like it was going to be a big lane there for Kevin Jones.
Winsick, the right tackle, limping to the sideline. His backup is John Dunn, 6'7", 310-pound redshirt freshman.
Yeah, right at the beginning, it looks like it's going to be a lane right there. Yeah. And then Howard, number 12, takes on the block of Ferguson. Just stuffed it and allowed Samuels to come in and help him and some others.
3rd down and 7. Noel. Nearly intercepted. Rufus Brown broke on the football intended for Davis. Nearly picked it off as it was, knocked it to the turf to bring up a 4th down.
Yeah, that was well played by Rufus Brown. What great corner play. Big cushion, but it allowed him to drive on it as soon as the quarterback turns his hips, begins to release. That allows him just going to nip right in front of Andre Davis, knock it away. Good technique by Rufus Brown.
So on 4th down, Frank Beamer will punt. Vinnie Burns. And Beamer hoping his defense can do the job, get him the ball back. Dominic Robinson, deep for Florida State, sees it bounce the other direction and down by Tech.
A lot of big plays for Florida State today. There's the one to the wide receiver, Javon Walker. It's good enough once. Let's try it again to Thorpe, the freshman. And then right back to Javon Walker, who makes a good adjustment for the catch. Well, let's try one more time. Okay. And Walker, 77 yards later, he's dancing into the end zone. They've had big success throwing the ball downfield, which has been their philosophy all year. And their 4 long receptions, 213 yards. The other 52 plays, only 139. That is remarkable.
Ball at the 22-yard line. Now with 5:22 on the clock. Virginia Tech hoping that defense can stop, stay here, and get them the ball back. Jones made a nifty move at the line of scrimmage, and Greg Jones is out to the 45-yard line, chased down by Jake Housewright after a 22-yard jaunt.
Greg Jones gets a little momentum going. He is very hard to bring down. Talked about how the success he had the second half of the season, averaging almost 100 yards a game those last 6 games.
19 rushes for 88 yards. As Chris Ricks calls the audible.
This is a big cushion down here.
Steady hands it off to Jones again. He breaks free at the line of scrimmage. Cuts back. And finally tackled from behind at the 34-yard line. Jones shredding this vaunted rush defense of the Hokies for 2 big games with the game on the line. 21 yards on that one.
And that offensive line we talked about earlier, all going to be big. Look at these guys. Look at the block there by 54 Brown. Clears the way. And then 72 Brett Williams. It was a tremendous hole by Williams and Milford Brown.
In fact, the hole was so big that Jones nearly stopped in his tracks and went through it. He was off balance, it appeared, going to the sideline, and then just stopped and had enough time to get through that huge hole. First down at the Hokie 33. Ty Jones again. This time he only got a couple. Ben Taylor wrapped him up.
You know, there's a lot of optimism in Tallahassee about Florida State's chances next year, Tom. And we talked about with Bobby Bowden about it yesterday. Only 2 seniors start on defense today in this ball game. Offensively, you know, of course, Chris Ricks is back. Greg Jones is back. some young wide receivers coming in, so they have the opportunity of having a much more successful and dynamic season than they did this year.
That's what Bobby Bowden said. Experience. So, boy, you just can't replace it. Who you got back? Who's coming back? Jones. He's coming back.
He's coming on too.
He gained 7 on that one.
Bobby Bowden said to us, this is not a national championship game, but it's awfully important to us. We still want to win it just as badly. This offensive line, you're a good team when you can run the ball when the defense knows you are. And this big offensive line has really come on this last couple of series.
After no ground production by either team in the first half, Jones now has gained 120 yards.
Rambo, the center, kind of leading the way. Holland and Willis, Brown and Williams.
Lost his hat on that one. Try him again.
Yeah.
Diving, trying to get the first down. Came up a little short as Whitaker and Taylor stopped him for no gain. Looks like he might be getting a little tired, too.
I'm surprised on short yardage they don't use William McCrary a little bit more as a running back. You know, he's ordinarily a fullback, but he's scored 16 touchdowns for them, all for 3 yards or less. Tries to get airborne here. A DB prevents him really to get into full flight.
They'll measure for the first down. And time becoming an issue for Virginia Tech with just 2:48 left and in danger of falling further behind as Florida State has moved the ball on that excellent defense. Just short on 4th down.
Bobby Bowden called for the quarterback sneak last time. Remember, for the touchdown?
Well, it would be a, 41-yard field goal for Mr. Automatic Bethea.
They're bringing in the short. And now McCrary is coming in number 15.
They're going to go for it on 4th down and a foot. McCray and Mater, 2 fullbacks, will be in, and 2 tight ends, and Virginia Tech calls a timeout. They're down to their final timeout as they stop the clock with 2 minutes and 48 seconds. This will be crucial here, of course, for Virginia Tech. Stop them. Don't give up any points. You've still got a chance.
Absolutely.
And don't forget, coming up next here on NBC, we'll have Metabolife presents the Brian Boitano Skating Spectacular. That's coming up next here on NBC. Brian Boitano, Olympic gold medalist, still going strong like Michael Jordan at age 38.
We'll be doing the skating in Salt Lake, right?
Yep, should be very exciting, Pat. Figure skating always the heart of the Winter Olympics, and Michelle Kwan and Sarah Hughes, contenders for a gold medal, with Irina Slitskaya of Russia, along with Maria Butrskaya from Russia. She'll come down to one of those 4, most experts believe, and men's pairs and dance as well. Should be exciting for all the winter events in Salt Lake City coming up before you know it as we begin the new year. Meanwhile, here at the Gator Bowl, this play could decide the game. It's 4th down and a yard for Florida State at the Virginia Tech 24-yard line. 2 minutes, 48 seconds left, and the Seminoles leading by 6. Ricks, the quarterback sneak, and he did not get much. Virginia Tech met him right at the line of scrimmage.
You know, he dropped the ball there, too. It all depends on the spot. And sometimes these spots, I don't know how they come up.
An inexact science.
It really is an inexact science.
McAdam and Housewright. McAdam from the safety spot went up high to make sure that Ricks didn't get much, but he didn't need much, remember. And here comes this all-crucial measurement. Does Florida State keep the drive going? Does Virginia Tech take over?
A 6-point ball game.
First down, Seminoles.
They're all doing the tomahawk chop, the equivalent of the first down. Offensive line. Watch the ball come out of Ricks' hands. Late. Yeah, he was trying to get it over the plane that would have been the first down yardage. Almost got it taken away from him. And twice they tried the quarterback sneak. Once it's ended in a touchdown. Once it picked up the first down.
Seminoles have done a good job of moving the ball and working the clock. 7th play of the drive. They've all been rushes as Ricks again calls the audible. What a crucial conversion that was on 4th down and a foot. Now they're going to go for 6. They got it. 23 yards to Javon Walker, his 2nd touchdown reception of the game.
Great audible, great vision, smart play by Ricks. You know, sees the blitz, knows Virginia Tech's coming after him, and you know what? Give Bobby Bowden some credit for being this aggressive. How many coaches, you know, protecting a 6-point lead would want their quarterback to do this? But Bobby Bowden, used to be known as King of the Road, has done this for 47 years. You keep attacking. And I'll tell you, boy, that matchup, Javon Walker against Roniel Whitaker. If Roniel Whitaker doesn't have to see another Florida State wide receiver the rest of his career, he'll be very, very happy.
And Walker, the senior from Lafayette, Louisiana, St. Thomas More High School, a state triple jump champion in his prep days, has just set the Gator Bowl receiving record with 195 yards.
Yeah, you know, he's a fellow, played some baseball, professional baseball, was a JC transfer, a guy that was talking to Jeff Bowden last week, said they would love to have Javon Walker back.
And Pat, guess whose record he broke? Fred Biletnikoff's.
Wow. Okay, there's still Stickum on the field from when Fred played here. 1965, whatever it was.
So with 2:14 now on the clock, the Seminoles will kick off. Cimarelli's kick into the end zone to Richard Johnson, who'll bring it out. Johnson with a lane up the middle, hesitated for a moment and will finally be stopped. And with 4th down, should he go for it or not? Here was the deliberation on the sideline by Bobby Bowden.
Measure! 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 Get in the measure! Measure! Measure!
You want to kick the field goal?
No, I'm going to make a damn 1st down. You got the best call?
Yeah.
35 fan? Hey,
sneak, you're right.
You got to get it now.
Yeah.
You got to get it.
And get it they did, and that was the ball game. And then they just made sure with the audible by Ricks for the touchdown pass to Walker.
When you're the quarterback, and Bobby Bowden says, be sure you get it, you know, you get it. You absolutely get it, particularly when returning for your sophomore year.
It's been a revelation to listen to Bobby Bowden on the sidelines today because, as you noted earlier, not just administrating, he is coaching.
I'm you know, quite honestly, I'm a little bit surprised. Some guys in that position act more like CEOs than coaches, but Bobby has really been in the mix on almost everything.
Virginia Tech spends its final timeout with 2:05 on the clock, but now Beamer and the Hokies down 30-17.
Chris Ricks made some really good decisions today and smart plays. And he struggled early in the year, but he came on and finished with a flurry.
And what about the 30 points scored on a defense that was 2nd in the nation behind Miami in scoring defense, allowing only 13 a game? Flushed from the pocket. Hit as he delivers the ball incomplete. And there's Dockett once again right in the middle of things.
Dockett is only a sophomore. Another one of those guys coming back for the Seminoles. Whole defensive line. 2 outside linebackers. The corners are coming back. They have to replace the safeties. There's only 2 safeties in the middle linebacker. Wow. Shovel pass, Ferguson. That worked for 29
49 yards in the first half that was wiped out by a penalty. And here it's going to come up just a little short. Alan Augustin, the stop for the Seminoles. There's Ricks passing for 326 yards against one of the best defenses in college football.
And making good decisions. I think that's the key thing, watching his development. Throwing to the right guys.
Virginia Tech averaging, giving up only 166 passing yards. And there's a sack of Ricks by Dockett. 4th sack for the Seminole defense today.
I mean, you know, you give it MVP awards, you know, you got to think about Javon Walker, the wide receiver, but boy, Darnell Dockett certainly should get a piece of the award, don't you think?
Yeah,
man.
I tell you. While we have a moment, wish everyone a happy new year on behalf of Jim Bell, Kelly Atkinson, producer and director, and thanks to our teammates in the booth, Mike Huniford and Kelly Bird, our spotters, Rick Baker, our stat man. First day of the new year, but the last day of football for us, Pat. It's been great fun.
I look forward to doing it again later this year, Tom.
That's right. It will be later this year on, as the Irish will tee it up with a new coach.
And, you know, he has to play this Florida State team in Tallahassee.
Hello. Welcome to...
I should have looked at that schedule. Should have looked at that schedule.
There's Dockett.
That Dockett down, boy. That's
holding his leg.
Exactly what you don't want to see if you're Bobby Bowden. Wow.
With the game already decided.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Florida State wide receiver number 80, Javon Walker, with his 4 receptions today, gives him 195 yards for the day. That's an FSU.
This we were just talking about Darnell Dockett, number 45 is right here.
Took a helmet on his knee, did Dockett. Number 45.
Oh,
yeah.
Ouch. It just buckled on him there, didn't it?
Hyperextended.
Gone.
Well, 2 great receivers will be our players of the game in this Toyota Gator Bowl. Andre Davis, 4 receptions, 151 yards. That remarkable touchdown scamper where he just absolutely turned on the afterburners. And Javon Walker, 4 receptions, 195 yards. That breaks Fred Bolitnikoff's record, the Florida State Bowl record, 195 yards. And the 2 touchdowns. We have seen some talent on display today.
A talented guy right there, Ray Willis, number 77. Freshman tackle.
.40 seconds remaining in the game. Well, we mentioned earlier this is the 5th appearance for the Seminoles in the Gator Bowl. In '64, Fred Bolitnikoff rewrote the Gator Bowl record books, 4 TD receptions as Florida State beat Oklahoma. Florida State, Penn State, won by the Seminoles, 17-17, I should say. And then Greg Allen, a Gator Bowl record 95-yard kickoff return as the Noles beat West Virginia 31-12. And their last appearance, '85, freshman quarterback Chip Ferguson threw for 338 yards as FSU rolls over Oklahoma State. And they will keep their Gator Bowl record unblemished to go to 4-0-1 with a victory over Virginia Tech today. And once again, Bobby Bowden will remain perfect against Virginia Tech. And Frank Beamer has yet to beat the Seminoles. Brian Randall in at quarterback for Tech. And unleashes one that's intercepted. Intercepted by Osei, Claudius Osei. Brian Randall's first pass in the Gator Bowl. The freshman from Williamsburg is picked off. Randall, the Virginia Player of the Year. In fact, the first player in Virginia high school history to have back-to-back 1,000 pass and 1,000 rush seasons, was rudely greeted with the Seminole defense.
Yeah, that was a poor throw, but Frank Beamer really likes Brian Randall, a guy who was the top recruit at the state of Virginia. We talked about the level that the recruiting that Frank Beamer has been able to establish there, getting the best players in the state and oftentimes the best players in the country, as he did with Kevin Jones.
Randall was also the Virginia State High School Basketball Player of the Year as a junior. Just 19 seconds left, and the Seminoles take a knee. Chris Ricks, an impressive performance, shredding the vaunted Virginia Tech defense for over 300 yards through the air. And the Toyota Gator Bowl belongs to the Seminoles of Florida State. Frank Beamer of Virginia Tech. As Bobby Bowden wins number 323, tying him with one of his idols, the legendary Bear Bryant. We mentioned about the mutual respect these coaches have for each other as they exchange greetings at midfield. Let's go to Chris Raggy. He's there too.
In the mix here with Coach Bowden. Coach, you guys really turned it up in the second half. What an offensive explosion for your team.
Well, that was after they turned it up. You know, we go out there with a lead, and all of a sudden they scored two just like that. And I was afraid our defense had lost it. You know, because we hadn't played a lot of freshmen today because of injuries. But anyway, the offense kept making plays. Quarterback and Walker kept making plays and enabled us to win.
Congratulations, not only on the win, but tying Bear Bryant as the second all-time winningest coach in college football history. Nice job today.
Well, I can't hardly believe that. I've kind of stayed away from it, but I'm thankful for the boys for making something like that possible.
Coach, congratulations. Nice job today. Tom, let's go back to you upstairs.
So Coach Bowden saying he relished tying Bear Bryant, but it had not been a goal. It just has happened. But he continues the legends in Tallahassee as he wins 30-17 over Virginia Tech. Coming up next on NBC, Brian Boitano.